for me to speak. Who told you that talk is cheap? My dogs is gonna locked up. Almighty niggas, we ain't weak. Flying down the street, I see patrols, they think they own me. Sipping Jose Cuervo styrofoam.
They want your view and your money. They don't want to make meaningful content for you. And they know that that's literally a money printing press.
Now this
put out that kind of shovelware shit.
See your shit sounding lame. Now the pieces we can't, you can't speak. Took your bitches plain to see. I hit it once faithfully. Dick all on the face, shit look like squirrel. It ain't hard to see. 1 time, 2 times commit a crime and I was hard to see. 3 times, 4 times headshots. Leave them at the scene. You Urkels just don't start with me. Season first, I brown the beat. McChicken gang looking like microwave. Badly bring the heat. Just like Reggie Miller with the 3. Scoring faithfully. Pacing down Money Street. Think I'm from Indiana. Down the chimney with the bag, this nigga look like Santa. Big pull-ups, no pampers. I tried to put my team on. Had to do them just like Bron James. Found a new home. AEG Almighty Egg Gang. We turn the skillet on. You might think the eggs gang bang. We don't have flags on. Pull up a mask on. Growth and development. I got it. New the tags on. Established like a settlement. Big bucks, no whammies on. Proper like a president. Time's up, the alarm is on. Almighty out of heaven sent gang. And that's how you kill a beat, AEG.
My stream is my place of business.
The company's name is Brunel Productions. Is internet content creation of on-demand and also live video streaming services.
Big up to your dad.
I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel.
Please tip me.
I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel.
Because I have bills coming up. Please pay my bills. I'm nervous. Draft for cash.
You better take a sip.
Please pay my bills. I'm nervous. Draft for cash. Get a real fucking job.
I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel.
Please tip me.
I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel.
Because I have bills coming up. They fucked me again, left and right, and my ass is so fucking stretched out at this point. It's time to push back. It's time to push back.
I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel.
Please tip me.
I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel.
Because I have bills coming up. I've never ever used a hateful slur. Ever. And that pisses me off.
I want to watch some faggot. Some homo.
Fiddle's a nigger.
You better take a sip.
Tyrone, I'm begging of you, please don't fuck my wife. Tyrone, I beg you don't spread her cheeks all night. And I know that my dick is small, I cannot please my wife at all. I'm begging of you, please don't fuck my wife. I know your BBC is fat and I cannot compete with that. I'm begging of you, please don't spread her cheeks. I'm hoping you will never nut inside my wifey's big old butt. I'm begging of you, stop fucking my wife. And when I look into her eyes, I see her fucking other guys. I'm begging of you, stop fucking my wife. Tyrone, I'm begging of you, please don't fuck my wife. Tyrone, I beg you don't spread her cheeks all night. But when I think about it all, my penis soft and super small, I'm thinking maybe you could fuck my wife. And while the bitch is still around. I don't mind to hear the sound of cheeks being clapped in my sheet. Tyrone, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't fuck my wife. Tyrone, 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 I beg you don't spread her cheeks all night.
Oh, I'm all for it. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not?
This one goes out to the one and only, the big cat, the fat cat. Big ups. I first saw you in Burger King. You took 2 seats, cause that ass is way too big. Had a boyfriend, I realized, but you told him lies with your raccoon eyes. The DoorDash is here. Wipe away your tears. Got you extra fries, and they taste just right. Have no fear, there's no trolls here. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Take you power walking on the beach, feasting on some sushi like you were the queen. Let me run some errands while you sleep. I can watch you play Skyrim all day this week. Have no fear, there's no trolls here. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes.
In reality, like I tell you guys, every day when I wake up, that's the best day of my life. I feel like this next day is awesome. I have a beautiful wife who I love so much. She loves me and a family, Jasper, and you know the things we get to do together. You know, I definitely want more time with them and more family time. But I absolutely love my life today compared to how it used to be. Seriously, all those years back then, you'd be like, it's a whirlwind of crap. It was me. And by the way, I've told you guys about my past. I used to drink way too much. I would be drinking constantly, all the time, because I was so stressed out. Honestly, when I started with this whole thing, I was depressed many years ago, a decade ago. I didn't like my life or anything. And basically, liquor was the way to kind of get through that. It was, I hate my life. I hate who I am. So let me just drink it all away and just keep pumping out fucking YouTube videos. I don't have to do that shit anymore. Like I'm happy with who I am.
You're right, you will take the ban. You're absolutely right, you will take the ban. You'll take the ban hard right in your fucking ass. Get the fuck out. You're supposed to be someone I trust, and you're gonna be
be a dickhead and go behind my back and hurt me and insult me. Get the fuck out. You'll take the ban real hard right up the finger. I'm just going to ban.
Why am I toxic?
Ban. Gone. Bitch. Fuck you and your mother. Fuck the trolls. Bitch. Fuck you and your mother. I'm just going to ban.
Why am I toxic?
Ban. Gone. Bitch. Fuck you and your mother. I'm just going to fuck you and your mother. That's right. This is the United States of Phil. I am the supreme being. I make the rules. What I say goes. This is my land. A nice lean-in manual. Now, just because I can, I'll issue a lean-in manual ban. Ban.
Why am I toxic?
Ban. Gone. Bitch. Fuck you and your mother. Fuck the trolls. Bitch. Now, just because I can, I'll issue a lean-in manual ban. Ban.
Why am I toxic?
Ban. Gone. Bitch. Fuck you and your mother. I'm just going to fuck you and your mother. Alright guys, how about this? How about everyone relax and let me play the fucking game and stop derailing my stream? Maybe I don't give a fuck that someone maybe in here you're accusing of being someone else who was previously banned. Maybe I just want to play the game and I don't fucking care about you guys derailing. Like, there's people watching this stream right now, they're trying to watch me play the game. Here's everyone in the chat. There's someone in the chat who's someone else who might have been previously banned. They might be saying racist things to do that. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm looking at the chat for the last 5 to 10 minutes. None of that is happening in the chat. None of it. It's just you guys screaming.
Hey yo, open up, man. Come on, open up, man.
Hey, yo, what do you want, man?
Yo, man, they caught me.
What?
Yo, they caught me on camera. I don't know what to do, man. What do I do?
I don't know. Blame it on Tevin.
Alright. I was streaming and they caught me red-handed, beating off in front of my fans. Pajama pants down around my ankles, feeling like a big strong man. How could I forget that I had left my camera on? All that time I was stroking it and thinking all about Tyrone.
Slinging my shit like I was a drug dealer. No paper towel, no sock, no pillow. Can't fuck cat cause she fat and familiar. Derek gave me links to a couple chatter betas. Got freaked out by a sexual fridge. Cats grossed out by the sight of my dick. I went broke, she went and got big. But she look a little thinner when I drink a little gin.
They saw me sitting on the sofa, head back, eyes roll up.
Oh, yeah.
I should've turned off the router.
Oops.
They got it all on camera.
Oh, camera's on.
I was screaming and they caught me red-handed, beating off in front of my fans. Pajama pants down around my ankles, feeling like a big strong man. How could I forget that I had left my camera on? All that time I was stroking it and thinking all about Tyrone. I wanna say that I'm sorry for the tips that I stole, and I'm sorry that I sprayed my cat, but he's an asshole.
Jasper?
Sorry I was chatting online to a 17-year-old.
Say what?
I'll be sorry when my parents die, but I need that bankroll. And I say, I was screaming and they caught me red-handed, beating off in front of my fans. Pajama pants down around my ankles, feeling like a big strong man. How could I forget that I had left my camera on? All that time I was stroking it and thinking all about Tyrone.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello. That's right, I'm a huge pervert, guys. That's all I do. I just masturbate constantly in front of children. You're absolutely right.
Birdies or something.
It's the guy watching his Twitch.
Is that really him?
I actually admitted this last year. I'll say it again. I actually do play some mobile games. I do. All right? The ones that I play are free to play. or incredibly inexpensive, like you spend $1 here or there to make progress.
This one's for all my baby girls.
Got me that gotcha. I love it. Got me that gotcha. Gotcha. Begging for fucking tips and shit on Street. It's WWE Champions time. I'm stupid. WWE game plays like Candy Crush. Moving gems around, breaking colored gems. I love it. Again, it's pay to win. The more money you sink into it, the more characters you can summon, the higher chance you'll get the better characters, etc., etc. All right? Got me that gotcha. I love it. Got me that gotcha. Begging for fucking tips and shit on Street. Gotcha. Got me that gotcha. Thanks for the money, dummies. Supercar. That was a mobile game I played like 5-6 years ago, a lot. For about a year, I played it pretty hardcore. All right, even at that point, that was before everything kind of fell apart with YouTube and everything. I was putting a little bit of money into it. I was playing for the top cards. I was playing the shit out of that game. Okay. After about a year, they launched what they called Season 2, which reset all the cards in the game and made all your progress essentially worthless. And I said, this game fucking sucks. What a complete waste of time that this was. All right.
In your motherfucking head. I don't think about WWE champions. You do. You probably know
to a town outside Seattle rode a recluse one fine day.
Who's that?
Never talks to those around him. In his office he's all day. 'Cause he runs a bankrupt business and he asks for all your tips. Sitting there and moaning, super soaker on his hip. Soaker on his hip. It was early on a Wednesday when he rode into the town. He had 2 big bills to pay and an appointment for his gal. He's a madman loose and running with an alcoholic lip. You can judge him by his wobbling and his awful nasal drip. Awful nasal drip. On the web there was an outlaw by the name of Tevin Black, making content so illegal, and he said his stream was whack. He was getting way more viewers and his content way more chill. He was striking down the fear into the heart of Darkside Phil. Heart of Darkside Phil. Now the madman started rambling, made it plain to dance around. He was not really Italian, you could help by tipping now. An entire fucking story about how he hurts his back, in ranting at the viewers about the outlaw Tevin Black. Outlaw Tevin Black. Wasn't long before the segment was restreamed by Tevin Black. But the outlaw didn't worry, he was laughing ack. Fat Italian was yelling, grease running down his hair. He was biting on his nails as he was shaking in his chair. Shaking in his chair. He decided that it's over, it was time for them to meet. But on the fateful day of battle, he had crystals on his feet. So he stayed at home just crying and begged for some more tips. Later got some DoorDash with the spicy Italian dip. Spicy Italian dip. So the fake Italian greaser kept on grifting all along, while his wife was getting black, dressed up in a yellow thong. He is fat and he's retarded and he's nasty with the drip. But you say you love his content and today's been slow for tips. It's been slow for tips. right, LARPer. Keep on trolling, baby.
Chocolate pee-pee in the doodle flavored toilet water. Keep trolling, baby. I clock in, I clock out, likes up, likes down. Jasper, tell me what I'm gonna play now. Trip in and trip out, likes up, likes down. Jasper, tell me what I'm gonna play now. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Yeah. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Yeah. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Yeah, I know you'll be loving this stream right here. LIMP, Dick Phil is right here. People in the chat, put your tips in the air, cause if you don't pay, then I don't play. 1, 2, 3, dear, go for the tips. Putting on a hat in the vest with the drip. So where the fuck you at, whale? Show the fuck up and whale the fuck out before I guilt your ass up. Chocolate pee-pee in the doodle flavored toilet water. I clock in, I clock out, likes up, likes down. Jasper, tell me what I'm gonna play now. Trip in and trip out, likes up, likes down. Jasper, tell me what I'm gonna play now. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Yeah. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Come on. Keep trolling, 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 trolling. Yeah. Keep trolling, 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 trolling.
Dear Phil, I tweeted but you still ain't calling. I left my Twitter handle and some Disney stuff at the bottom. I try to tweet you often, but I guess that you never saw them. But that's okay, most trolls just tell me that my tweets are awful. A couple girls I follow, yo, they tell me that I stalk them. I hope that you don't feel like that, I'm a good boy, Phil, I promise. And if I'm just being honest, yo, I'd really like to mod so I can send the trolls to Bandland for telling me that I'm rotten. I think it's cool that you and my mommy talk. I told her all about you, reviewing some body wash, and she thought that you were handsome and thought if we had a talk, you could be the man that I needed to keep me on the up and up. But all in all, I just wish that we could have a chat, Disney movie style stuff while I watch you and you react. And even if you're begging, Phil, I always step to bat to the Asian style streamer that always loves me back. Hey Phil, still haven't received an email. I know I don't support as much as oh I see your email. I know I can be a little overwhelming to the females, but I think that if we chatted we could just ignore the details. I thought about you the other day while I was driving, hit the Burger King drive-thru, then complained about the line. Complaining isn't right, but I hear it from you like all the time, so I've adopted it into some social normalcies of mine. But man, it'd be nice to get a letter from you. We could grow together, dog. You could adopt me as your nephew. I could live inside your closet, cause that's where I'll get the best view. But I don't wanna be the reason Cat left you. I just wish you'd hit me up, cause I'ma keep on tweeting, Phil. I ain't ever giving up. And even if you gon' beg, I'll always step up to bat to the Asian style streamer who always gon' love me back.
Hello, we're not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. Phil. I'm getting tired of this shit. You don't wanna hit me up, fine. I just kidnapped your bitch and we're driving down the freeway and I've had a couple beers. Oh no, oh shit, fuck, which way am I gonna steer? This is bullshit, Phil. I was at every stream. I told you facts about Disney, every single thing. Toy Story and Cinderella, even Monsters Inc. So fuck your dumb horse and fuck your gout sting. I trusted you, Phil, and you just let me down. I told all my friends at school that you were never a clown. I loved you, Phil, and this is the thanks I get. I'ma make you remember my name, you're never gonna forget. But I'm gonna forget this in a second when I switch into another lane. Oh shit, here comes the bridge. Perfect fucking timing, you hear that, you stupid bitch? It's time to take a swim, so you better take a sip. I ain't stopping now, Phil, you made me do this. You hear that, you horse face? You both made me do this. You think that I'm dumb? You think that I'm just stupid? Oh, shut up back there, or I'll just turn up the music. Time to end this all, Phil. I hope that you're happy. This is for all the times that you never tweeted at me. So buckle up back there, cause we're getting to the bridge. So take an ocean style, death style fucking sip.
It would help if I was unmuted. All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to Smark Guys. It is now week 2 of 3 weeks of special guest hosts that I have here on the show leading up to my big WrestleMania coverage. It is April 3rd, 2025. I'm DSP, and this week I have CypressTV here with me as the co-host. Cypress, how are you tonight?
What's going on, Phil? I'm doing pretty good. I see chat's saying, I wish it was John Rambo, whatever. Look, if John Rambo showed up right now, I would give him the seat. I want John Rambo just as much as y'all. I mean, honestly.
John Rambo he's still in the jungle with the full body camo on, hiding. No one has seen him for 7-8 years. Maybe one day he will emerge from the hell that is over there in Vietnam. But for now, Rambo remains a mystery to everyone. But anyway.
This is true.
How are y'all doing tonight? I hope everyone's doing well. Coming off of last week, where we had the absolute chaos of Ethan Ralph, which everyone was expecting to be a total nightmare and a train wreck, which actually wasn't. I think a lot of people were very shocked at Ethan's performance, although there was one moment where he did say something that was not allowed on YouTube. If you did not see it live, you never got to see that moment because I had to edit it out immediately so that the show could actually be live after the fact. But week 2, things a little different. As I said, every week I want to have someone a little bit different so that way it feels like variety. And the whole idea here is to try to see if someone is a good fit, or maybe I could actually later on down the line after WrestleMania have a rotating panel of hosts. And so tonight, CypressTV is with me. Cypress has done content on the internet before regarding pro wrestling. Would you like to give us a little bit of background on that?
Yeah, well, back in the day.
At Dainty, we believe everyone is one of a kind. The way you prep, the way you create, the way you spice. We're not all experts, yet some things make it simple. Regardless of who you are or how you cook, everyone deserves a little Dainty.
Hey, Mom. Where's my laptop charger?
Some days, life runs at 100%. And for over 50 years, nuclear power has kept us running 24/7, 365 days a year. Plus, it helps keep our economy growing. That's Ontario's nuclear advantage.
Be trying to like run into us and find us simply because, no lie, like I got an invite. A fan of mine had sent me this like special code and said, Phil, it's expensive, but if you want to go to WrestleMania, you can get like primo tickets, right? So I used the code. Those tickets were like, I think if I remember correctly, they were like over $1,000 each because they were like ringside seats. And it's like, if I'm going to pay that much, I definitely don't want to be meet and greeting with fans and stuff. You know what I mean? I just want to take in the experience. It was my first ever WrestleMania. I'll never go again, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I did it like that. Yeah, you know, back then things were so different. I would have probably had tons of people who wanted to like spend time with it. We did actually, because earlier that week we had gone to the Ring of Honor show in the Hammerstein Ballroom, and there were fans who met up with us, and we had a great time at that show.
See, I went to that show too, Phil. So Kevin
there you
Kelly,
go.
I was associated with the podcast, and Kevin Kelly was actually one of the, I don't know what he was to them, but he had given the podcast a bunch of tickets to kind of hand out to fans. So we got to go to that show. I'm pretty sure Kevin Steen main evented against El Generico, which is Sami Zayn.
Yep.
And yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know you were there. Yeah, this is news to me. So that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, you know, that was great. But like, I ended up just quickly, I ended up watching you, and then you and Rambo broke up like with your podcast. That obviously left when you guys stopped doing content. But so what I ended up doing is I met up with around 2020. So I didn't make content for a while. Around 2020, a friend and I decided to come together because the world was basically closed. So we came up with a show called The Hangman Outcast. Basically, the show was just me and him talking shit to the internet. We invite people on, but like it wasn't malicious. It was just kind of like shooting the shit with people. And it started gaining like not a lot of traction, but like it was fun. It was my favorite fucking show. We were averaging like 30 to like 50 coherent viewers. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was pretty cool because they were all interacting. So, but for some reason, I don't know if it was because my association previously, but the YWC stuck their nose into our show. And that's when I discovered a lot of fucking people in YWC. Why, if you don't know what that is, that's the YouTube wrestling community.
Cool.
So we had a lot of people come into our chats, and they wanted to just start shit because the YouTube wrestling community, that's what they are. And I'm talking like, I'm going to drop some names because I think one of them is doing something on the internet that's making other people look bad. And it's making it hard.
For the record, so I ran Smark Guys way back in the day. I believe we started the show, I want to say around like 2010, and it ran all the way through like 2014 when I moved across the country to Washington, and then it basically stopped. So I was doing this kind of wrestling commentary before there was officially a YWC. Yes, there were people making that kind of content, but it was like, it wasn't mainstream. Like back then, the big people who were making this kind of content were like Brian Alvarez, I believe, and he actually has a show based out of Washington. I think he's on one of those internet radio shows. And of course, everyone knows Dave Meltzer, right? So they were like the two internet wrestling authority guys that everyone would go to. And for me to be doing a show that was so small time, but actually getting traction was kind of special. That who is this guy? He's just a gamer, but he's talking about wrestling every week. And then when I stopped doing this show in 2014, all of a sudden, it's like over that last decade, it just blew up. Everyone was doing wrestling commentary. Everyone had a show. Everyone was cross-promoting. Wrestlers started doing internet content on this stuff now, and it blew up. So it's funny now I'm coming back into it so many years later to find out there's a whole giant community, hundreds, thousands of people who are doing it. I'm like, wow, you know, just went right over my head because I've been out of it for so long. So I don't know any of this stuff that CypressTV is about to start talking about because I've been out of the loop for so long.
So I see, shout out to House of Chayton. What's going on, man? He's the guy that I did the show with back in the day. If you want to find the episodes, his fucking stupid ass deleted all the episodes, but I'm pretty sure one of the episodes got re-uploaded to another channel. So if you dig, you probably could find one of our episodes, a re-upload, of course. You can ask him why he deleted them, okay? He can answer that fucking question because I'm not answering that. It's a long story. But without going into that, so yeah, the YWC, I met a few people. Now, there's one guy that's given everybody a bad name, and I'm glad that you decided to bring up your show again because this guy likes to clickbait shit. So, you know how many fucking times I go on I have another YouTube channel just dedicated to subscribing to wrestling content. That way my feed doesn't get clogged with it on my main YouTube.
Smart, because the YouTube feed is so annoying. When you click on something else, you just endlessly fed that. It's like, oh my God.
Yes, you watch one video, and that's all you get of that one guy. So, like, that could be annoying. So there's this guy, Sean's View Entertainment. Now, the funny part about Sean's View is I see his fucking ass in some of your detractors all of a sudden. So you decide to do wrestling again, and his drama ass shows up in other people's detractor chats. So I said to him, you know, if you're going to want to know what's going on behind the scenes, why are you going to detractors? You know, you could just like message somebody who knows something, but you're hanging out with them. So it's almost like you just want to be part of the drama, which makes sense because if you go to his channel, it's literally wrestler passes away, surprise, and there's a picture of Roman Reigns. WWE set to close after WrestleMania. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, it's very hard for wrestling podcasts to make it in this world, especially with wrestlers doing it now, because they already have an audience.
They've got the clout. Exactly. They've got people installed viewer base because people recognize those people. They're going to watch them first. That's right.
But this guy is giving us, you know, people that are trying to make it a bad name because they go on the feeds and they get fucking clogged with bullshit. And they're like, well, I'm just not going to watch these motherfuckers. I'm just going to go to a wrestler or an ex-referee or an ex-commentary because they know what they're talking about. So it is giving us a bad name. So fuck you for that. I'm going to be honest. It really sucks that happens. There's another guy who I went back and forth with. I had a debate in October with him called the Wrestling Otaku.
In fact,
And
you would actually
the Wrestling
zip your lips
Otaku
permanently,
is
put a
another
zipper
guy
on
who's
your
a
lips and go,
huge
"Zup,"
AEW fan.
and never talk
He's
again.
like
It would be better off. Your
AEW
content would
super
actually
fan.
be better
Like
off
if you
if
want to
just shut
be
the hell up.
force-fed AEW positivity, you just got to watch one of his
man.
videos.
I don't know
like
how he does it
unbearable
because
sometimes.
I saw the one episode and after that it's like I've every once in a while I'll just like turn it on again just to see what's going on and I watch for like 10 minutes and I'm like, nah, I gotta get out of here. I gotta do something else. I can't stand it. I can't stomach AEW. So good on them for being able to like it. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was fun. So I did that with him. I'm pretty sure I destroyed him because it wasn't hard. I don't even think it was an accomplishment. I think he was the one that said, "I'll challenge anyone," and I said, "Okay." I felt like it was a layup. Like, how are you gonna compete? So that's like what I've been doing. There's other stuff, but people have asked me not to kind of talk about it because of this. You know, not everybody wants to.
It's all good. We all know how the vortex works and how people tend to get sucked into drama. That anyone who gets involved with anything with me, even though I have nothing to do with it, so I totally understand if you know, there's a situation where you know you've been involved with stuff and can't be brought up. Totally makes sense.
But yeah, that's me pretty much.
Cool. And for those who don't know, you know, CypressTV is one of my moderators. Everyone kind of knows that. You've seen him on YouTube and stuff. So yeah. So here's the deal. This is what's cool. So how long have you been watching pro wrestling, actually? When did you start watching?
So as my first match remember seeing, now I was too young to really know what was going on, but I remember walking around my great-grandfather's house and Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart in an Iron Man match. Now, the only reason why I remember this is because the WrestleMania logo was in the ring. So it was easy association but I don't remember much of it. I just remember Shawn Michaels jump. The only moment I remember, you know, prior to rewatching it years later on the network is Shawn Michaels jumping off of the top rope to the outside. That's it. But coherently remembering wrestling would have to be like 1997. That's when I started watching
Attitude
WWE.
Era.
Yes, that's like when I started watching week after week after week. But I was like a big WCW guy because not by choice. It's because my mother felt like I couldn't watch WWE because she saw a clip of Jacqueline's top coming off in a match, and she was like, "Nope, you're not watching that." And I was like, so I had to like sneak watch it. You know.
So you watched WCW like that was much better. I mean, they were just trying to copy constantly. So I mean,
I couldn't say anything to my mother. I said, "Yeah, I'm watching WCW. It's way better." But like, you know, but that's she was. So I had to like sneak watch it.
So that's cool because you see, we have completely different perspectives. You know, I grew up watching it when I was a kid in the 80s and early 90s, that whole new generation of WWE. And then when it hit Attitude Era, I actually stopped watching it for a while. And then I came back to it during the Invasion angle when WWE had bought out WCW and ECW. I never saw the whole Monday Night Wars. I never, you know, went right over my head. My friends knew of it, and my friends talked about it all the time in school, but I just never watched it at that time because I was so heavily into competitive Street Fighter. Like, that was the thing for me. That was my hobby. That was what I was so into. And then coming back into it in the 2000s and then the 2010s, and then basically kind of disconnecting from it again about 5-6 years ago, and now coming back into it. So this is the cool thing about having different co-hosts, is that every week it's like a different perspective. It's like a different take. And when we're talking about the results this week, we're going to have different opinions on the stuff going down because
definitely, yeah,
we're different generations, different thought
I
processes.
don't know how you watch that. I have no idea how you watch the new generation era, because that is like, to me, that is like, so PG era, everyone says is like the worst.
Yeah.
But I mean, the new generation is a close second. That wasn't much better. I mean, you got crazy gimmicks, ridiculous gimmicks.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I didn't grow up on it, but like I've seen clips of it.
Well, you didn't like the Mountie?
That's what the Mounties, and then IRS, and then who was the big guy? He was Viscera later on.
Yeah,
they tried to push him.
He was part of Men on a Mission, the Men on a Mission tag team.
They
Yep.
tried to push him to be a main eventer, but he was dressed like a balloon. It's
Yes.
fucking crazy.
Yes, and then he was a big dude. That's the thing. WWE at that era was all about who are the
Mabel,
biggest
yeah,
guys
Mabel.
they could get in the ring. Right. So Mabel, obviously Undertaker, Giant Gonzalez, who was there for like a hot minute and was gone almost
Yes.
within like a year. The big guy there was Yokozuna for a long time. He was the big man who always was the one who was crushing all the faces, but it was always about size over substance in a lot of ways. Not to say I say Yokozuna could wrestle, but some of these other big guys were like could barely move in the ring, but Vince loved it. That was Vince's fetish over the years. The bigger, the better, and he was one of them for sure. But no,
The Mantar. Yeah.
you're right.
Mantar,
that era, that new generation era, was a unique time because it was like they were bridging the gap between the larger-than-life superheroes and supervillains of like 1980s WWE with now trying to bring in actual technical talent like your Shawn Michaels, your Bret Hart, your Razor Ramon. And it was unique to see that transition happen and then almost go completely the other direction with Attitude Era when it was all like Smash Mouth, blood, and sex and, went the other way. So,
Yeah, it flipped like crazy. And I walked in, like, it's crazy because I didn't see that, like, transition in 96. So I walked into it and I was like, holy shit, here we go. We're off to the races. So before we get into anything, Phil, because since we're talking, I need to grill you. I know that your old host used to grill you. I have to grill you about something.
Good.
You haven't been grilled. You haven't been grilled in a long time, so it's time for me to grill you just a little bit. Why the fuck did you have a fake wrestling fan week after week after week? Now he said he was a fake wrestling fan. He's admitted this. How could you not notice that he was so fake? That's my first question.
Well, as we know, PPP, my former co-host on the show, was on this show for almost 3 whole months, give or take.
Yes, that's a long time to be a fake wrestling.
And, the whole idea was we wanted to do a crossover show that didn't have to do with gaming, which was my forte, and didn't necessarily have to do with drama. That was his forte, but instead kind of meet in the middle somewhere. And yes, we could still talk aspects of each thing. Like we could have a drama segment. We could have a segment where maybe eventually we do WWE games when the WWE game comes out. But then we could have the whole pro wrestling thing be the thing to mesh it together. And we all know that when you're not really a fan of something, you go out and you spend $500 to $1,000 on each replica belt out of 3 replica belts that you then show off on the show. Like to be real, I didn't even know he was going to do that. And then one day we're like we're shooting the shit right before the show goes live. He goes, Phil, I want to show you. And he pulls out this belt. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, look, it's real gold and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, those things are mad expensive. Like, that's not the one you buy at fucking Walmart. That's like the real one. He's like, yeah, but I got this one too. And I got this one on order. And I'm thinking in my head, this guy actually is like a serious
That's
into
not
wrestling.
a fake wrestling. He can't sit there on his show and call wrestling fans retards. He can't do that. That makes no sense. When you pull out title after title after title, no offense, but that's pretty retarded. I heard him say that, insinuating that wrestling fans are retarded. And then in the same sentence, he's holding multiple titles. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. It's a fucking
like he
joke.
was sitting in a
He's
wheelchair.
really is.
The thing is, here's the thing. I've been kind of there, and here's why. Back in the day when I first hit my big notoriety on YouTube and I started making actually good money doing it, I immediately said, man, I got money to blow, right? Let me just blow it on stupid shit. So I bought a bunch of statues and I just threw them in my background. Now, do you really think that every character that I bought a statue of, I was like the biggest fan of? No. But my justification is I'm going to use this in my content. So even though I'm spending all this money frivolously to show like I'm a big shit, I have all this money, at least I'll be using it for content, right? But the truth of the matter is, I was a gamer. I like superheroes and DC and Marvel. I'm not gonna buy a bunch. Like, I didn't buy baseball memorabilia and put it behind me because I don't give 2 shits about baseball. I'm gonna spend money on something that I like. It's ridiculous what he's saying, that he's not a wrestling fan. The reason he's doing it is because he's embarrassed because I kicked him off my show. He didn't have the power to say, I'm done with the show, I took that away from him. So now he has to try to get power back, right? So disassociate himself from wrestling entirely. Oh, I never was a fan of wrestling and I never was this. Yeah, right. There's no way you would have done the show. You wouldn't have watched all of that stuff. How is he telling me how to watch wrestling? Like, I don't know how to watch that. Oh, well, here's how you do it, Phil. You need the VPN and this and that.
Oh, he knows it all, but he's not real wrestling fan. Come on, it's a show to them, and I get it. I understand that whole thing's a show for entertainment, and they do it. And some don't agree with the entertainment. I think sometimes it's like whatever. Other times I'm like, I wouldn't go that far. And now they're doing it to you. You're just a part of their show.
Yep.
I actually don't believe they mean any harm. I think they're just found a way to monetize it, much like everybody else. I also don't think all your detractors mean any harms. I don't.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Yeah.
No.
I think I think that some of their obsessive people that are that they have no control over are the ones that you got to look out for.
Right.
But there are a few detractors that I actually think they're talented, and I don't understand why they focused on you when I'm impressed at a lot of what they do. And I feel like they either do other things that actually make them money, and this is a side thing, or they're just wasting time and they could be doing something better.
I know the answer to that. The answer is very simple. It's that YouTube itself, or streaming itself, or whatever you want to say, but YouTube is kind of the focal point, has become an avenue where you can turn this kind of negative action, this toxic action, this internet bullying into profits. And the truth is, if they took those efforts and they put them towards something else, for example, making positive creative content, they would be successful because they have talent, but then they'd just be like me. They would just be a guy who has moderate views, makes a good living, but they're not going to blow up. They're not going to be, I got all these views, they have realized there is a select group of maybe 1,000 people on the internet that have actually grown up hating DSP and will throw money at anything that's anti-DSP. It doesn't matter if it's coming from one of my mainstream detractors, if it's coming from Stuttering Craig and Side Scrollers, if it's coming from Steve Cambrian and his fucking show that came out of nowhere, or if it's from Kino Casino or anything. As long as it's anti-DSP, these morons throw money at it. Even if it's not genuine, they still throw money at it because they're not stupid enough, or they are too stupid to know better. They actually think it's all real, and they just enjoy throwing money at bullying DSP, despite the fact I'm still here.
I don't agree with any of it, man. I think that some of them are so talented, and I just don't understand why they waste time. And I would never say any of their names because this ain't the place for it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here.
All that does to call them out, it gives them exactly what they want. They feel like if you give the name drop, that's it. They got that notoriety today from Phil or his content, and that's why I don't do it. It's just not worth it, you know?
And I don't blame you for that. But yeah, that's something I had to ask. I don't really I wanted to understand the PPP thing and the detractor thing. I get it. I totally understand, man. I actually think PPP fucked up because he couldn't figure out how to run a fucking wrestling show. Wrestling won't get views. Tell that to JD from New York. Tell that to the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show. What the fuck do you mean wrestling can't get views? Do you ever once consider that you can't get views in the wrestling realm?
Right. The thing is about PPP is that he wants a certain level of attention or success, and whether that's views or money, that's what it's about. Even if you're having a show that you're having fun, right? I had tons of fun doing that show with him, but it gets to the point where, well, we've got a shill now for an hour. Like, well, no, we really don't. We don't have to make $600, $800, $1,000 a show. I don't need that. But he's used to that. Like, to him, he's going to turn on the camera. He's going to start broadcasting. He wants to make a ton of money. And so that's why we had these giant bloated segments of him screaming at the audience, come on, open your wallets and do this and that. I didn't ever want that for the show. For me, this is something cool to diversify my content and to get back into something that used to be one of my hobbies. I think it's been a good show for the last 3 months. I don't know about the audience. It seems to be the consensus. People like the show. They want the show to continue. That's why I'm still doing it. But to me, yeah, if I have an off week where I don't even make $100, it's like not a big deal. But to him, so that's what I mean. Like, he couldn't just focus on wrestling. How are you going to have a successful wrestling show when you're not just focusing on the subject? When you're pulling yourself into drama over here and bullshit over here, you just have to make it a good show at wrestling first, you know?
And here we are talking about it. But like at the end of the day, I feel like PPP was a huge part of your show for a lot of weeks. So like it inherently involved drama. But now that that's away and that's out of there, and he may say, "Oh, I don't care," and then doesn't care, and then cares when money comes in, and what the fuck? I mean, make up your mind. But at the end of the day, he's gone. Chat's right. We don't need to dwell on it. It
That's
is
right.
what it is. It's not that we can change.
All right, let's get some initial shout outs. We have a few contributions that have come in. Now, just to make this clear for everyone, this is a standard show. Contributions count, whether it's on the YouTube side, super chats, memberships, whether it's on the Kick side, subs and gifted subs, and of course tips, which you can do through either way by typing the tips command, !tips. The way it's going to work is if we happen to hit $100 of support tonight, I still have 3 packs of Topps WWE cards to unpack when we hit $100 each. So, if we raise $100, I open 1. We raise, $200, we open 2. I was supposed to have another box today. I wanted to have more than 3, and they didn't deliver it. They bumped the delivery a day with no legit explanation. So sadly tonight, I only have 3 that I can open. So just so everyone knows, if we do $400 tonight by some crazy pipe dream, I only have 3 to open. I'll owe you 1 for next week. The box is in transit. All right. But just also so everyone knows, the cost of these has exponentially increased in the month and a half that I've been opening them. So the first box of these I bought back in February cost $40. The second box of these that I bought cost a little over $50. This box that's coming tomorrow was over $60 with tax and shipping is over $70. So you're saying this is worth more than $10 apparently. This one pack of 4 cards. So what's happening is the whole collector's industry is just exploding right now, and things are being massively overvalued.
It's insane. I just found out. So back in 2008, I got the special edition of GTA 4, and they gave out 2,000 baseball bats, the silver bat, the iconic baseball bat, and it had the Rockstar logo at the bottom and the name on it. That's worth almost $1,000 on eBay. So it's like, what the hell? I don't even know where it is in my house, but I have it.
People are literally telling me that these little figures that I got in a McDonald's adult Happy Meal yesterday are going on eBay for between $15 and $20 each. It's like, what?
You can get them now.
You can get it at the store, and they're selling. People are buying them for $15 and $20 off of eBay. Like, what are you doing? People are just nuts in the modern era with these collectors things, man. So we have 3 for tonight. The final packs will arrive in the next week. That'll be the box to take us through WrestleMania. And then quite frankly, after that, unless these things start becoming way more available, I think that's going to be the final box. I don't think I'm going to continuously spend, hundreds of dollars on a box of these now. They're nice. And by the way, the Chase card is in one of these 3 packs. We've only seen one Chase card before, which was the Nakamura card. And that was over a month ago. So we may...
Not feeling the grays but don't want a color? Try Just For Men Control GX Gray Reducing Shampoo. Just shampoo like you do to gradually reduce grays. Now boosted with keratin. Hair looks 2 times thicker to keep you looking your best. Control GX Shampoo.
We aren't the ones who wait. We're the ones that move. Taking on challenges that matter. Turning knowledge into action. We're not waiting for the future. We're shaping it. And whatever comes next, we're ready.
Decide to continue the show past WrestleMania. Maybe that would be something that I would be interested in doing, is actually checking out the NXT. But with the 2 shows, just between watching Raw and SmackDown, it's a lot.
And then you got to take notes too. And then you add NXT to it. It ends up being, I get what you're saying, especially since you stream all day.
Right.
Like,
it becomes like a job, and it's like I already have a job. I don't need to have a job on top of a job. I want to just kind of enjoy the wrestling. So I think I prefer just to kind of watch the Raw and SmackDown for now. And of course, I will be watching WrestleMania in its entirety to cover that as well. So thank you, Slayer. First contribution of the night. We got a tip here for $2 tip. Hold on, because it closed on me. From... This says, this is some content I can sink my tooth into. I love it. I don't know what that's a reference to. Only one tooth?
It's probably a reference to my teeth. That's all. Try again.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, like, because when I played football back in the day, I got an elbow to the fucking
Ouch.
mouth. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It gives you strength, something these fuckers don't know nothing about.
You know, it's always hitting below the belt. It's always doing stupid shit. Like, who gives a shit? Who cares about?
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
give a shit.
someone's
I'm the one that actually dealt with it. These fuckers just talk about it.
We've got, let's see. Well, first of all, we had a couple memberships. It looks like we had Gabriel the Blessed, 20 months as a member on this channel. Thank you, Gabriel, because I realize that this React channel doesn't have a lot of content, right? It's Smark Guys once a week, and it's basically if I do a DSP tries it here or there. I appreciate those of you who actually have kept your memberships. Thank you, Gabriel, for that ongoing support. $20 super chat from Papa Slap Nuts. He says, DSP, how many subs? How many subs to burn those cards? What do you mean? Like
That's
to go
fucking
through
crazy. He's
all
got to go
of them?
outside and burn the cards.
Or
in
to
his yard.
burn the
I'm
cards
pretty
physically? Ah, exactly. I don't know if he means to actually burn them. Well, I'm not going to burn my house down. I think that would be kind of stupid. To be honest, I know a lot of people have said, oh, you got to be careful with those because they're valuable. Like, I don't see them that way. You know what I mean? Like, I just do it as, like, I think it's something fun to do. And actually talking about the wrestlers that have been on the cards has been pretty funny, I feel. So it's been something entertaining. But no, I'm not going to do any crazy stunts. Now, if you mean to burn through them, meaning open up all 3 packs, it's $100 a pack. So we need to get to $300 tonight to go through all of them tonight. I really don't foresee that happening tonight. So, okay. We received a $2 super chat from Lester. And he basically is suggesting another co-host. There is one more co-host next week on this show. And before we get to our coverage of wrestling, everyone's already talking. It's this simple. All right, I'm not going to tell anyone who the final co-host of Smart Guys is going to be next week before the WrestleMania show. But what I will say is this. I did it this way on purpose. Ethan Ralph was first because everyone was going to not be able to shut up about Ethan Ralph if I didn't have him on first, and he spoke up first. So to have him on first, it made sense. It actually built up hype. People got excited. I have CypressTV on this week to be the middle guy between these two kind of polar things, and you're going to see what I mean, because next week will be the last guest host, and all I'm going to say is you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a doozy. No one's expecting it, and diapers will be filled. That's all I'm going to say.
What the fuck does that mean?
Okay. All right. So it looks like that's what we've got so far. Remember, on the YouTube side, super chats, memberships, gifted memberships count. On the Kick side, sub. Oh, wait, we had a sub. I missed it. We did have a sub from, hold on. Shit. I really got to get a mouse for my laptop because the touchpad is actually wearing out now and not working nearly as well. From Lance Catamaran. Thank you, Lance Catamaran, for the gifted sub over on Kick. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. And likely then we will get into our discussion of wrestling for the week. That's right, folks. This week we're actually going to start talking about wrestling within the first hour, if you can believe it. To be frank and honest with everyone here, my goal for this show is to try to make it between a 2 to 2.5 hour commentary show. Not to say that I don't want to talk off topic. I think it's fun to have interaction with the host and to have a little bit of camaraderie, go back and forth. But tending to go too long has been an issue where, you know, you go on a tangent for an hour and then you got to rush. Like the big complaint about last week's show with Ethan was the last half hour, I literally turboed through most of Monday Night Raw. And I was like, yeah, we had already gone late and I really needed to finish the show. And I really don't want to do that. I want to focus on the wrestling. I want to give you guys the commentary that you're here for, in addition to anything else extra. All right. So that being said, we're about to get started with our wrestling commentary here. CypressTV, do you have anything else you'd like to just get off the table before we jump into SmackDown for the week?
I am ready
last
to
thoughts?
jump. I'm ready to jump into wrestling, man. I got a lot of notes and a different perspective on a few different angles that are happening. So I'm excited to talk about it, man. And I think the chat's ready. I think they're ready.
Awesome. So we are at $34 of support. That means we need 116 more to hit my goal for the night. And we need 66 more to unlock our first pack here. And remember, one of these packs has a chase card. That's going to be a unique, really cool looking card in it. So there's actually a pretty high chance that we're going to get one of those tonight when we hit $100. All right. So let's see how it goes. All right. So this week, WWE was completing their European tour. And after having been to Bologna, Italy, and across all of Europe, they ended in jolly old England in London in the O2 Arena for not one, but two completely different shows, which was kind of cool. I couldn't remember. I was trying to think in my head, when was the last time that WWE actually did that, like back-to-back shows in exactly the same venue? And I think they've done like a WrestleMania and a Raw, but I couldn't think of like a SmackDown and a Raw like that they've done like that. So those fans must have been psyched and excited. That weekend probably was so exciting to be in Great Britain if you're a wrestling fan. I'm sure there was events going all over the place. The British wrestlers were probably going crazy with indie shows, So that was really cool.
So they did have
go.
that.
Now he's talking about
The
WWE
year we
champions.
went to
You're a piece of
WrestleMania
shit.
29,
You piece of
the
donkey
Brooklyn
shit.
Nets
How about
Stadium.
this?
Well, they weren't the
How
Brooklyn. I
about
think they were the
this?
New Jersey Nets at the
WWE
time.
champions.
They had that
All right?
arena, which I think they turned into a parking lot now.
champions
They
lives rent-free in
they had
your motherfucking
a
head.
SmackDown
I
and then
don't
a
think
Raw,
about WWE
like you said, between the Mania.
You do.
And
You
that was the
probably
only
know
time
way
I
more
can
about the
remember them
fucking
doing
game than
that,
I
and
ever
that was
will,
hype.
'cause you're
That
an
was
idiot.
hype.
That whole
Yeah,
weekend,
that's-
that weekend was nuts because, the New York, New Jersey area is a hotbed for wrestling. And there were so many things going on at that time. There's fan fests and indie shows and real, shows like we had gone to the Hall of Fame as well. We went to the Hall of Fame. We went to
You
WrestleMania.
saw Donald Trump.
We saw all that, dude. It was so crazy. It was such a great weekend. And the thing is, like, I'm just glad I did it because now I can say, hey, I was really into it at that time. And I probably never want to go again. It's good just to do like a life event. But for people who do it every year, that's just crazy to me. Like, oh, I go every year. I go to WrestleMania and I go to all the shows. Like, it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of people, it's a lot of stress. So more power to them. But I enjoyed doing it. And like I said, for this weekend, for those who were in London, it was probably another one of that super weekend kind of a feeling, especially with the build up to WrestleMania and all the big superstars were there this weekend. So talking about that, let's start with our coverage. So SmackDown this week, live from London, England, the O2 Arena. It was Friday night, March 28th. And so the first thing that was announced is that there was going to be the contract signing between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns for their upcoming triple threat, one of the co-main events of WrestleMania, which is weird because if that's one of the co-main events, and we know Cody and Cena's a main event, then what are the other main events? So no women's match is considered a main event. Jey Uso's match isn't a main event. So
I have a theory on the Jey Uso thing. I've been saying this since literally he won the Rumble. I imagine opening the show with that match because you know how Jey is with the yeet and the hype and the crowd goes crazy in the opening of Mania. I don't know if it's gonna be night 1 or night 2, but I just felt like that match against Gunther, if he's gonna go over too, it helps the case even more. That match alone is the best way to open a WrestleMania. He comes out, hypes the crowd, wins the title. Everybody's talking about it. Jey Uso wins. Jey Uso wins. To me, since he won the Rumble, I'm like, he's the opener. I didn't know who the main event was, but I knew that you can't not open without Jey Uso. Jey Uso,
Right.
I know they say main event, but I'm sorry. There's nothing main event about Jey Uso. He's awesome. He's a great hype guy, but his promos are and his wrestling is kind of like good, but it's not like main event. And there's just a lot that he's got to work on with his mic skills. And I think that's what really puts him behind it. But yeah, no, I'm not. I think that I'm actually thinking the triple threat is definitely where it should go, the main event.
I agree,
I'm
and
all for it.
I've been saying this for weeks that I think the Jey Uso match is going to be a curtain jerker. It's that kind of. It reminds me of the Daniel Bryan Sheamus match from many years ago, where there was all the hype for it and everything, and everyone thought it was going to go one way, and then it just curtain jerked and it was over fast. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's a fast match. Like they just, let's get this shit done. We'll just go quick right through Gunther, which will suck for those of us who are Gunther fans. But I'm getting that vibe that this match is not going to be anything exciting or hype like they originally built it like it was going to be, because now you're seeing all of their focus is going towards all the other matches that are going on. That just seems to be what they're going toward. I do want to say thanks to Sarah and thanks to Andy. They popped their membership messages. I didn't call them out right away, and sadly, I don't know, for some reason they're not showing up in my queue, but thank you for re-upping your memberships tonight on the show. Okay.
I did see Sarah's comment, and I do appreciate that. Thank you.
I think she complimented you. Yes, I think she said
Yes.
good stuff about you. Also tonight, Charlotte versus Mishin. Okay. Sure, I don't know where that came from, but Charlotte versus Misha tonight.
She needs a match.
I guess she needs a match.
I guess.
And they're saying that B-Fab will be by Misha's side, and I guess that kind of makes sense because B-Fab and Charlotte had an altercation last week backstage. LA Knight versus Braun Strowman for the U.S. title. What will happen there? Because we already know that Jacob Fatu is in the mix, and he would have probably had that match opportunity, except that it was cost him by the new bloodline last week. So obviously we know some hijinks will ensue there. And Cody Rhodes will be curtain jerking tonight. He'll be out there first, apparently. So, but nobody's
Second show in a row that Cody's opening. I mean, they're really banking on the hype of Cody, which is fine. I like it. The second show in a row.
Yeah. So here we go. So the show opens, and the London Arena. London is one of the biggest pro wrestling fan bases in the world. That's why there's been so many promotions. Like, remember, even WWE had their wrestling promotion out there at one point, WWE UK and all that, or NXT UK.
Yeah, NXT,
so it has been huge. And the crowd is great. I'll just say this. All these European crowds have been absolutely amazing. The London crowd is no exception. They are into wrestling. They are so excited. And to be quite honest, next week, they're back in the U.S., and I'm wondering, is it going to be like a big deflator now? Because we've had 3 hot weeks of European crowds. Are we going to go back to the crowd not paying attention? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. But once again, this crowd was absolutely excellent. And it's Randy Orton who enters the arena, and the crowd is just so crazy. They're just singing all of everyone's songs nonstop. Their name, the chant. It's just crazy. And Orton, again, I keep saying this. It's so weird for me because I see Orton come in and he's happy. And I'm so never used to seeing Orton happy. He used to be the guy who's the pissed off guy. He hears voices in his head. He always wants to kick your head off. And he comes in happy now. It's just it's different. It's like a different side of him. I think I like that side because it's something that I'm not used to. So he basically says, I'm not the sentimental type, but for London. And then he basically looks at Cody Rhodes and he goes, man, look at you now. Remember, back in the day when we were part of, oh God, what was the name of the group that they were in that Orton was the head? The Legacy. That's right. Where Orton was the head. And then you had Cody Rhodes and you had Ted DiBiase Jr. as kind of like his second-hand man, his henchman in the group. And there's a lot there, there is a lot of history there. It's pretty cool to see these guys that they're now in the same promotion, but how the tides have turned. And now you see Cody's on top and Orton's kind of like mid-card. So Orton compliments him on the way that he had the balls to leave WWE and go to AEW and do everything that he did. And I'm going to be honest, I wonder if any of this is true, or this is just the script. Because for a guy like Orton, who he's a company guy, right? He's always been WWE. His dad was WWE. So to hear him say to someone, oh, I'm glad you left and made a name for yourself elsewhere and came back, I don't know if I really buy it or if that's just the script.
I think he's genuine. I think he's genuine because I feel like a guy like Orton, being close to Cody, wanted Cody to succeed. And I feel like backstage he'd be more frustrated in the fact that he's playing, his friends doing the Stardust thing.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think it's genuine. You know what I did notice about Orton is he was getting kind of annoyed with the crowd, with the chanting and stuff, because he even looked at his wrist at one point and was like, we don't have all day.
Right.
And I have to agree with him. Now, I love the London crowd. They're awesome, like the way they interact. But I do feel like they stretch these segments and they throw people off. I do think that, and I'm gonna revisit this because I do think it played a little bit of role on Raw too. But I do think that Orton was getting a little annoyed with the crowd going back and forth and stopping the promo, and he was trying to build to something.
I definitely feel like there's a sweet spot. If anything, what we saw during the COVID era was that not having any crowd craps this product. This product doesn't look exciting if you have no one there to cheer it. But on the flip side of that, it's kind of like the extremes. If you have people who are so overexcited and so loud, now you can't even get a word in edgewise. What I noticed on again on Raw, which I think we'll get to, is that there were certain segments where the crowd doesn't like a heel and they won't let the heel talk. So you can't even get the segment done because they're trying. And then what they did on Netflix, at least, they like had to edit in some of the dialogue because you couldn't hear it in the arena and you could tell no one even heard what they said because the crowd is booing so loud or, they're shit talking the heel. And so I get that. Like, I get that from Orton. Like, he's a professional. He wants to get this plot line out. He wants to get the segment done because there's many other people in the back that need to get their time. I get it. You like me, you like Cody, but, be a little bit respectful to everyone and don't go overboard. So
And they're planting seeds. That's what this whole segment was, just to plant the seed for the future.
Oh, yeah. So Orton basically, again, he complimented Cody for having left WWE and coming back later on and basically being top dog. You changed the business and everyone knows it. And we all know that one day you would come back. He compliments him for years ago when he had completely destroyed his body, his pectoral muscle, but he still wrestled that Hell in the Cell match against Seth Rollins. And he says, you beat Roman. And now it's on to your next story. That wasn't really the end of your story. There's a whole new one that you've been living now. And the business is mostly up because you're in the position that you're in right now. And I do love you, dude. But you know what? It is WrestleMania time. And just so you know, after all this dust settles, I'm going to be the one next. I'm the one next in line. Look for me to come after you because unlike your current opponent, John Cena, I'm not going to be kicking you in the balls. I'm going to look you in the eye, tell you I'm coming for you, and tell you that I'm coming for that title. So definitely planting seeds for sure of things to come. And then as soon as he finishes saying that, as if almost perfect timing, Drew McIntyre enters. And again, I'm just going to say it week after week. This guy, it seems like they want to push him into this important picture and super important. He's out here with Cody and with Orton, two of the top guys. But is he even involved in anything important right now? No, he's in this kind of throwaway feud with Damian Priest, right?
Yeah. And are they going to have a Mania match? Is that official? Because I don't remember seeing an official graphic for it.
I think what it is they're just going to keep building this up, and then that might be one of the last things they announce is that, there's going to be a grudge match between Drew and Damian Priest. But I think as of now, I don't think it's been officially announced yet as a match. So Drew comes out, he says, "Oh, look, it's a couple of Nepo babies in the ring. This makes me sick. What have you done to justify your title match? You did absolutely nothing. Cody, you should have listened to me about everything, but no one ever does. So now we're in the situation that we're in right now with Cena and everybody." Then he insults Damian Priest and calls him the Timu Undertaker, which I thought was a good line.
It is. He has these one-liners, man. McIntyre is on point with his. I don't know what happened to him within the last 5 years, but he is on point with his promos. And his interactions on Twitter is great. Whatever he's doing.
Really? I don't follow any of them. I purposefully had to unfollow everyone on social media because a few years ago I was actually following WWE and all that on social media, and literally my entire X feed just became wrestling. I was like, this is insane. And I kept unchecking everything, and it would still give it to me. So I just I had to block it all to stop. And now, thankfully, I can use X for work and not see 7,000 wrestling tweets every 5 seconds. So Drew says, I'm going to be the one to take that title from you, Cody, after WrestleMania, not Randy Orton. So it's kind of funny because when he says it, he's implying Cody is going to beat John Cena, right? He's like, yeah, you're going to beat him, but I'm going to be the next in line. And then he turns to Randy and he goes, you're jacked up on the outside. You're really ripped, but we all know that your back is hanging by a thread. So then basically Cody attacks, Drew escapes an RKO attempt, and they got a little bit of a rumble there. And so will Drew actually have any impact? No. What they're doing is they're setting up that there's going to be a match with Drew and Orton tonight. That's the big match for London. That's why they did that segment. So it's cool. Will Orton actually come after Cody after WrestleMania if Cody beats Cena? I don't know. The way I see it is if Cody were to beat Cena, Cena really has to ramp it up and pick up, because this is last year and now he's a heel and everyone likes this character now. So I feel like they're going to keep that up. I don't think that they're going to be like, oh, he beat Cena, Cena goes away, so now Orton can challenge Cody. I think that it'd still be like Cody and Cena. So I think it kind of was just a one-off thing just for this show. I mean, that's my opinion anyway. I don't foresee.
My opinion is I don't think Cody wins. And I want to when we get to the main event or the interaction with the signing, I have a theory
Okay.
on who I think is going to walk away with the title.
Okay.
And I don't think it's Cena or Cody Rhodes. I don't think either one of them walk away with the title at the end of Mania.
Interesting.
I think so. We'll get to that, but I do believe that I think I know who's going to walk away with the title, and it's going to shock people.
All
I
right.
hope I'm right.
We'll get to that. I haven't heard a take like that yet. That'll be interesting. All right, cool. I just want to give a very quick shout out. There was a $4.20 tip here from, let's see here. It says, I want to give props to Cypress for going on this show and dealing with assholes in chat and stride. He says, I wanted to email you about getting on the show as a potential guest. I have previous experience in pro wrestling commentary, but I actually have, so I'm a little afraid of trolls who might want to harass me because of it. He has more balls than me and others, and I'm sure, so major props to Cypress for being on the show, and I'm loving the show so far. So there you go, and I have to agree. I have to agree, because as we know, it's called the Vortex. I'm not a part of the Vortex. I'm not. I ignore it. I don't want any interaction with it, but the Vortex 1,000,000% is real. These people on the internet that are nuts, that follow me around, that stalk me, and any kind of interaction that I have with people. If I have someone as a guest, an interview, I talk with someone on Twitter, they'll go after them, you know? And so I get it. There probably were a lot more people who actually would have been interested in doing this show with me, but they were afraid that if they were to step their toe into that vortex that they're going to get harassed, and I don't blame them. So major props to you, CypressTV. Major props to Ethan Ralph last week and you know, our guests next week, who are going to actually be taking this on in this capacity. And you know what comes with it, but we'll see. Hopefully nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope that no one gets any harassment out of this. It's so stupid.
It is unfortunate. That is like McDiskey said in the chat, the downsides of streaming. It's really the downsides of anything. When you're successful, it does bring hate, and there's levels to it. It sucks.
It's just it's I'm at the worst level, basically, you know.
Yeah, I guess. As Keemstar said, level 1, I guess. Although Keem's been getting a lot of hate too, so it is what it is. They all know. Everybody knows.
I'm trying to get the chat back open because it crashed on me here. But so coming up next on SmackDown, they announced it was going to be the Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. That match had been set up previously where Pretty Deadly had won the #1 contenders match. And so it's
Pretty Deadly comes out to no reaction. Have you noticed they really wanted to get a reaction. They dressed like the flag. There was a little chant going. There was a little bit of a chant going during the match, but that was probably the deadest reaction I heard all night.
These
and
guys,
from the friggin' city.
What I was going to say was,
There's a place that feels like coming home.
Wow.
A place where you'll always find the homegrown stars you know and trust.
There's $100,000 on the line.
Designs that take your breath away.
Oh my God.
And transformations that change lives.
This place has it all.
From exclusive Canadian originals to stories from around the world, there's no place like it.
So this must be the place.
This spring on Home Network. Stream on Stack TV.
For the glory of sports, be ready with high protein from Vector.
Number 2, apparently they were really popular on NXT from what I'm to understand. Like when they were coming up, people liked them on NXT. But for the little bit that I've seen of them since I've been watching SmackDown now, you know, for a few weeks, I don't see the crowd ever reacting to these guys. They're good wrestlers, don't get me wrong, but I don't think the crowd's really into their character. Compare this to Fandango over a decade ago, where he was the flamboyant dancer, and he was
Remember,
so
at WrestleMania?
over.
That song at the wrestle, that was so over.
And that's what maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need something catchy. I mean, let's be honest. These catchy songs, like Seth Rollins' song, makes people sing to this guy every single week. So maybe that's what they need, because their song is, you know.
You notice Pretty Deadly does all their segments backstage. That's usually a red flag when it comes to talent.
Yeah.
Because if they were over, they'd put them in front of the fans. It's just that's how they've always worked.
That's a good point. So the match is Pretty Deadly come out to this full disco ball dancing, you know, crazy intro. They've got the flags. They're the hometown boys and all of that. The match is pretty good. There's back and forth between the two teams. Pretty Deadly basically kind of focus on a lot of flips and athletic moves. I haven't really seen them that much, only a couple matches so far. Definitely.
Yeah, one of them was hurt. Forget which one. One of them got hurt. The Street Profits just appeared out of nowhere. Like they were doing nothing, and next thing you know, they're like the best tag team in wrestling, aside from the champions over on Raw. But like, yeah, like I don't know what the hell happened. Like all of a sudden they're over and they're winning. Like I didn't. I like them. They're a good tag team. Street Profits always appreciated them, but man, out of nowhere, it's like there's no rhyme or reason. They're just over now. Like
Yeah, and it's been such an acceleration because remember when they first returned, they shockingly came in and beat everyone up with chairs, and you're like, oh, they're heels. Then all of a sudden, like within 2 weeks, they were the faces, and everyone's supposed to like them. It's like what? Like what?
No rhyme or reason.
This really, really accelerated weird push. But I'm like, listen, Street Profits are good wrestlers. They've been in the company now many years. They were great in NXT. They were good on the main roster. They got shoved to the side for a while because of injury and everything. Then they're back. I'm happy with them. And they win this match. What happens is Pretty Deadly does too many athletic moves, and they end up getting caught in a doomsday blockbuster for the win. And so Street Profits retain their titles, and Pretty Deadly, I guess, get to the back of the line.
Yeah, another back of line situation for them.
And, it would have been nice to see Pretty Deadly maybe win, and then maybe this gets tagged all around and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. But Street Profits are great, in my opinion. I enjoyed the match. So then it says Zelina Vega and two people who you don't know who they are going to team up against Chelsea and her cabinet. But I guess, and then I said, oh, I know what it was. So it showed Zelina Vega and two women. I was like, who the hell are they? Like, who are these women who she's tagging with? They haven't been on TV for weeks. Like, who are they? Right?
Why isn't your United States champion Chelsea Green in a match? Triple H wants to make these titles, but then he doesn't want them to defend them.
Yeah. Right.
When she won it, I was like, awesome. Chelsea Green, she's going. I think she deserves it. I think she's got so much potential. And she's just become a manager who holds a title.
Yeah.
How are we going to believe this title if she's just sitting on the sideline the whole time? I don't understand this match.
Here's the thing. I get the gimmick, and the reason I get the gimmick is because this gimmick's been used before. Back in the day, there was the heel who just never wrestled. They had the title, but they never wrestled. They had a group or a stable with them that would always protect them. And it was almost like you got to get through them to finally get to the person and finally get the title match. And then when you finally got that hype title match, it was like, finally, this person's going to get their comeuppance, right? So I get it, but I agree with you. I want to see her wrestle. I want to see this get hyped. And I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired of seeing Piper Niven wrestle every week. I think Piper Niven's good, don't get me wrong, but I don't need to see her every week wrestling instead of the person who's the champ. I agree with you there.
What are they dressed like? What is this gimmick where they're like, I'm not feeling, there's only one woman's angle I'm feeling right now, and this is not one of them. It could be so much better.
You don't like the secret Hervis? How dare you, sir?
I don't even know what that means. What the fuck is that?
It's obvious. They're right now, WWE loves to do this. They got to capitalize on what's going on in real life. And right now, of course, Donald Trump being president is a big thing. It's controversial. So let's make her the controversial champion. And she's protected by the two Secret Service members who are, she's supposed to be like.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it is. So, if Trump hadn't been elected, they wouldn't have done this. But they're
better
doing
than
this.
any guess I could have. They called them the Men in Black. At the end of the day, you're only ever going to get prestige on a title is if the title's defended. And if Chelsea Green isn't going to defend the title, then it's not worth anything.
So the reason that I got confused here, so they show Zelina Vega, she's going to team up with these two other women against the secret Hervis and Chelsea Green. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But then when they show who it is, I'm like, who are they? And then it clicked in my head. I said, it's the women who are on the fucking cards I just unpacked like last week, who have been missing from TV for like 8 months for no reason. This is them. Their names are Katana Chance and I guess Kaden. And they're now back teaming up with Zelina out of nowhere. Like there was never any interaction, never explanation. Just, oh, they're her team now. Oh, okay, sure, whatever you say. So that's going to be a match tonight. Also, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns are here and they are together. So they're going to have a hype segment, what's going to happen when Paul and Roman are together talking instead. Because remember, a couple of weeks ago, it was just Paul. So now to see them together, what's this interaction going to be? Is Paul going to turn on Roman because he owes CM Punk a favor? Yeah, the big hype segment there. Shout out here. We actually received a $30 tip, a very generous tip here coming in from Alex from Phoenix. He says, I'm kind of fantasy booking ahead here. I think I see Cody dropping the belt at Mania. Then I think he's going to do a heel turn down the road. Cena will carry the belt till SummerSlam, where Punk will take it off of him. Big ups to Cypress for being on the show tonight, by the way. So thank you, Alex. Interesting.
Alex also made another point in chat about Alexa Bliss when we were talking about the match. And I agree, Alexa Bliss has no spot on this card, and I haven't seen her on Raw, so I think that's a miscue too.
I don't know what's going to happen with her. I guess she's not going to be at WrestleMania unless they do one of those battle royals, which they sometimes tend to do. Maybe they'll do like, what is it? I know they do the Andre the Giant, so maybe they'll do a women's battle royal and she'll be in there and win it. I mean,
well, King Crimson in chat is saying that I don't know if this is true, but she's taking time off. She got removed from WrestleMania World 2, which is like their show.
Oh, wow. I wonder what happened. Because she had just come back too, man. Damn, I wonder. All right. So by the way, guys, we're currently at 60. Hold on. I just had it open and I closed it like an idiot. Oh shit. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. We are currently at $68. So 32 to go. And it's our first pack on opening for the night. For those who are interested in seeing if we can get one of those chase cards, 32 more bucks of support, and our
they're
first pack opening.
guaranteed to have one. One of those three.
One
packs,
of them has it. One of them has a cool
guaranteed.
chase. I don't know what it'll be. The last one was that cool Nakamura card, which is a blue SmackDown card, and that one looks really nice.
I need that money.
Okay.
I really do. I need that money.
So I made a point here. I don't know how you feel about this, CypressTV, but I said this was just a dumb, pointless match. To be frank, this women's match. First of all, to see these two women come back, I made a note here. Now I'm remembering that Katana and Kaden were actually a tag team in NXT at one point, and so I guess they carried that over to when they came to the main roster. So maybe that's the reason why they're teaming up tonight, on the Zelina side of things here. But it's just dumb. I said, there's nothing even to say. It seems like it's kind of a meaningless match. There's a few spots, but of course, Chelsea's going to distract the ref. No shit. It's like what she always does in these matches. So then Piper gets a Piper driver from behind Katana Chance. 1, 2, 3. Zelina runs out for the save, takes out the secret Hervis. Chelsea then attacks her. And I said, wow, it's kind of funny because when you actually see Zelina Vega going up against Piper or going up against, she's really small. Like she's like short. Like I think she's even shorter than Alexa Bliss, and that's saying something. So then basically Zelina gets crushed completely by the secret Hervis, and that's the end of the segment. So I don't know what the point is. So first of all, she was supposed to go through Piper Niven to earn a chance to wrestle Chelsea. She loses to Piper Niven. Then they have this match. She runs out for the save. She gets crushed by Piper Niven. It's like, what are they doing right now? What is the point of this? Are they building to something? I mean, it seems like it's going to be Zelina versus Chelsea, but I'm not convinced this is a good way to do it. She just gets crushed every week.
They want to get Piper Niven on the card because I believe she's somewhere from Europe. And, when they're in Europe, they want these people on the card. I just feel like they went about it the wrong way. I don't think this match didn't really mean anything to me.
No.
Filler
match.
It was it was just a filler match to get us through the show. And SmackDown's almost 3 hours now, so they got to fill the card somehow.
King Crimson says, do you remember there was Amazing Red in TNA? Zelina Vega is his cousin. I did not know that. I do remember Amazing Red from TNA back in the day. So that's interesting. So she's part of kind of a wrestling family. Cool. Okay. Up next was a match that actually was interesting. Braun Strowman versus LA Knight. LA Knight defending his U.S. title. And, each of these guys showing their different styles. You got Braun, who's the big, brawny, strong man, while you have LA Knight, that's kind of more of like a rock character, charismatic, big choreographed broadcast moves. Braun early on dominated LA Knight in this match. Then LA Knight finally, after a while, started to get some reversals. And he tried for his, flying elbow drop that he does from the top rope, but it was an easy kick out for Braun, who just kind of tossed him right off after one. So he's not going to get away with any kind of a cheap, easy win here. Strowman Express gets interrupted by Jacob Fatu, and the whole match ends. It's like, wait, what?
They didn't want to give us that Braun Strowman LA Knight match. They had to end it somehow. Listen, what is your thoughts on LA Knight? What do you think about his character? Because I know he blew up in middle of last year.
Yeah.
Do you get a ripoff vibe, right?
From what I'm to understand, okay, when he came into WWE and he first hit NXT, people were refreshed, right? Because you haven't seen a Rock-like, larger-than-life, almost Attitude Era style persona in a while. We do have big guys, but it's like Cody Rhodes is not Attitude Era. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's very PG. And this guy, he has that mannerism. He talks slow. He has the one-liners. He's got that kind of smack mouth attitude. I get that. Okay? Then when he came to the main roster, they changed his character entirely. They turned him into some freaking sissy guy or whatever, and no one liked that character at all.
No.
So then he tanked, and then they decided at some point down the line they were going to change him back to the LA Knight character and let him do his thing, and apparently it worked. All right? So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to crap on this guy. If he's making this gimmick work in the modern era when everyone else has decided to move past that style and he's still making it work, good on him. He's found his niche. He's found where he's going to work in the card and with the style of wrestling that he does. But personally, I like it, but I find it hard to love it when every time I see the guy, I feel like that's Rock again. Or he's trying to be Austin again. I get that vibe every time that he's just trying to copy people who've come before him, and it works. And the thing is, the audience is so young.
They aren't letting him do it enough, though. The thing is, they're not letting him do it enough now. You notice that? They kind of pulled back a little when Mania started coming in motion. You know, he doesn't get those one promos in front of the crowd anymore. He kind of like has to come to the ring real quick, and his part of his gimmick is on the mic. And when you're not giving him his go-to gimmick, it's just a guy coming out. I like LA Knight. I'm not going to say here front, but I will say that you got to give him the mic if you want him to live the gimmick.
I guess it doesn't really help when it definitely appears that it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania. So because of that, he's not going to get those giant moments. It's always going to be him interrupted by this guy, then this guy, and it's all the big spin. It's not just him and one guy facing off, allowing him to have that one-on-one rivalry. And maybe that's why now we're seeing that it loses its luster when it doesn't have that classic mano-a-mano feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And it sucks because this was a good match. Let the match end, but no, Jacob Fatu comes in, he stops the Strowman Express. So there's a DQ immediately. Then he does Samoan drop onto the announce desk, so he's beating the crap out of Braun. LA Knight tries to stop him, but then Jacob Fatu Samoan drops him as well, and then he repeatedly crushes Braun's head again and again and again, just like he did back in January, right before the Royal Rumble. So it's kind of like a callback to that Raw in January where he got bloodied. Then he repeatedly does moonsault after moonsault after moonsault, and eventually people come and break it up, and that's the end. So it's obviously apparent that they're going for a triple threat here. It's very obvious this is going to be a triple threat at Mania.
This would be the third triple. If this is true, what you're saying, this would be the third triple threat match on this card.
Yep.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I thought they were going to have Braun versus Jacob Fatu. 1v1. I don't know. I get LA Knight's a champion. He needs a match. But, like, I don't know how I feel about a triple threat. I just don't know if that's necessary. Braun can take Jacob Fatu, and there doesn't need to be a title involved. Give LA Knight something else. That's just my opinion.
I almost feel like they just...
its own.
It feels like the plan was it was going to always be Braun and Jacob. And then at some point, whatever they had planned for LA Knight fell through, and now they have to like toss him into this because they don't have anything else for him, and he's a champion, right? They need something. Nakamura's out of the picture at this point. Like they crushed his ass a couple weeks, so now he's not going to be anything in this. So, yeah, I agree, and I do think at this point we're stacking up to too many triple threats. We have like triple. How many of these matches are going to be triple threats at this point? It kind of
I could tell you.
It kind of takes away the hype of the triple threat. Triple threats used to be exciting. Now it's kind of like with every other match is a triple threat on the card, then it doesn't really stand out anymore. Okay. So up next, we had Jimmy Uso being interviewed by Jackie in the back. And we're talking about last week how Jimmy Uso confronted Gunther in the back, and Gunther basically insulted both Jimmy and his brother Jay, and Jimmy slapped Gunther so hard across the face that it resonated, and they've been saying, oh, it's the smack heard around the world. So basically, Jackie asked Jimmy about this, and he says, well, the ring general can be got. I'll get him on Raw. And then Jimmy's going to get him on WrestleMania. And I guess what they're insinuating here is that because it's SmackDown, Gunther's not on the show, but Jimmy is going to be on Monday Night Raw to wrestle Gunther, even though Jimmy is a SmackDown talent. So here we go with the weird what's the
It's
point of
Mania
having two
season.
shows? Everyone's crossing over. It's really confusing. Okay, whatever. Out of nowhere, The Miz and Carmelo Hayes are back together. When did this happen? Like, did I miss something? Because they were together ages ago, but then Miz was with Karrion Kross for a while. Then he wasn't with Cross anymore. Carmelo Hayes was by himself for a while. Now he's with Miz again. Like, okay, if you say so. I guess.
They don't know what to do with Carmelo Hayes, and it's unfortunate because he came in. They had this big promo for them. He was going to be this huge SmackDown signee, and they haven't done anything with him. I don't understand what they're planning on doing. Also, I don't know what's going on with this Mania season. I don't know if it's because they have to wait until the 20th this year, which is I think this might be the latest WrestleMania has ever been.
Yeah. Usually
The 20th?
it's my birthday weekend, which is this weekend. It's a full 2 weeks after this year, right?
So I feel like they're just trying to figure out what to do to get us to Mania because this is kind of weird.
And it just seems like they're kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and a lot of it's not sticking. Like, this stuff doesn't even make sense, like filler matches and stuff. Because they announced, tonight it's going to be Jimmy versus Miz. Why? What are you talking about? I guess Jimmy needs a match tonight. So Jimmy Uso versus Miz. This is going to be their match tonight. So now there's a backstage vignette. Not vignette, backstage kind of like segment. So Solo Sikoa is furious at Jacob Fatu because Jacob didn't tell them that he was going to go out there and interfere with the Braun Strowman and LA Knight title fight. And he's angry at them because they didn't tell him last week that they were going to interfere with his match that cost him his shot at the title. So basically they're going back and forth, and it's funny because like Solo's like, lower your tone, but then Jacob's like, no, let me be clear. I'm going to be the last man standing versus Braun, and I'm going to do it with or without you. So now, similar to how for so many weeks we had this dissension within the ranks of the Judgment Day over on Raw, it seems like the seeds have already been planted and that the new bloodline is starting to crumble and fall apart. Jacob wants to do his own thing. He doesn't like that Solo thinks that he's in charge of this thing. And it's okay for Solo to interfere in his match, but not okay for him to go out and interfere with someone else's match, And I kind of get that. So I definitely see a split probably coming where Jacob's going to end up going his own way. And it seems like that's what they want. If you were to ask me right now, in the new bloodline, who's the hottest guy, who's the guy everyone's interested in, it's definitely Jacob Fatu. It's not Solo.
100%. It's not even close. I thought for sure coming after Royal Rumble that we were headed towards a Solo versus Jacob Fatu match for WrestleMania. And then that didn't happen. Imagine if they had Jacob Fatu instead of Solo when they started this bloodline thing, because I never believed that whole Solo taking over the bloodline thing.
Yeah.
Something about it didn't make sense. But Jacob Fatu has all the tools.
Right.
Like it would have been so much better. And I hate to say it, but I knew doing that new bloodline thing, I knew that Jacob Fatu wasn't going to he's going to outshine. I knew that it wasn't going to work for long because he's just a bigger presence than Solo. And in reality, you notice how Jacob Fatu didn't say a word.
Right.
When he first got introduced, he didn't say a word for a long time because they knew the moment he opened his mouth, he was going to outshine Solo. and we're headed that direction. And they should have paid it off at Mania. It would have solved our triple threat issue. You could have had Braun versus LA Knight, and you could have had Solo versus Jacob Fatu. Maybe they will still do that. I mean, who knows? Again, we're multiple weeks out.
Right.
But
the way I see it, I missed the entire new bloodline plotline. I saw the culmination of it because the first match I saw was Solo versus Roman at that inaugural Netflix Raw. But my take is Solo to me is kind of like the charismatic, almost like upstart. Like, let's say you had a gang and you had a tried and true leader of the gang, but now you got that upstart who challenges the leader for that. He's kind of like Starscream versus Megatron almost, the Transformers. It's that dynamic. But Jacob is like the ultimate badass Samoan. He's got the look, he's got the moveset, he's got the brawn to do it. He's pushing around
attitude.
Braun Strowman, right? You know?
He has that attitude, man. That straight up Umaga style. Man, like he's a Samoan through and through. Like that's the guy that you want to be out there representing the island. And in my opinion, he's gonna go so far. I could see a ton of product being pushed with his shirts and stuff. When they start giving him that real push,
Yeah.
be prepared, man. I saw him in the indies and the promos that he was cutting, some of the stuff, maybe they'll let him do in WWE. He's talking about dog walking people's asses. And, oh, man, it's going to be good.
There was an interesting thing here. King Crimson is saying, I do think they're gearing to remove Jacob from the new bloodline because Tama Tonga's brother is currently in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I guess he's called Hikuleo. He just signed with WWE. So it seems like they're going to maybe bring him up and shuffle things around. And that would make sense that he kind of bumps him out of the new bloodline and then he maybe goes against them for a while. I could see that, and that would be pretty good, I think. So, okay. Next segment on SmackDown was a interview with Naomi. I said, man, this was shitty. Who produced this? Because I'm really getting tired of these backstage interviews that they're not very well done. Last week we had one with Jade. This time we had one with Naomi. She basically says, I always do the right thing. Why am I made to be the bad one here? I was the one who saw that Jade was trying to steal Bianca's character, Bianca's thunder, Bianca's momentum, and that's why I put an end to her. And how did Jade end up taking my place with you, Bianca? I don't understand this because we were, tried and true sisters. And I'm listening to this and I'm just like, I don't like it. It's boring. It's been done before. It's very cliche. And I get it. They want to have these dramatic plot lines with the women, but it's just not doing it for me. I don't buy Naomi. I don't even think, to be honest, Naomi versus Jade at WrestleMania are you excited
really
for that?
I wanted to see Jade versus Bianca Belair, and we're getting Naomi versus Jade instead. So I'm already like, But and Naomi's not glowing anymore, if you notice. She's
now
changed
her new character, I can't believe this is actually her new character. Her new tagline is proceed with caution. And she's wearing an outfit that's made of caution tape. It says caution. It's tape that says caution on it. I was like, oh God. This, so this is going to be the cringe segment. This is going to be the pee break during WrestleMania. Everyone get ready for that match so we can all get up and get more snacks,
It's totally ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that thing. That's something straight out of the 90s. That's from your generation, Phil.
Yeah.
That's from the new
It is.
generation.
It absolutely is. And they call back to this stuff from time to time, and it's like, geesh. So Jade is angry. She says that she wants Naomi now, and apparently Misha...
Cirque du Soleil invites you to bug out with the colorful and crazy fun of OVO. Opens May 1st at Lakeshore Boulevard West. OVO thanks its presenting partner, Sun Life. Tickets at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
Cheese It in 10 cheesy flavors. Cheesy, crunchy, satisfaction.
This is a random match. It's a filler match. It's a weird match. Why is this on the card?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She needs a match because she hasn't wrestled in a while. That's my takeaway. I actually didn't take any notes for this match. I'm gonna be honest. I hate Charlotte Flair as a wrestler. I can't stand watching her. I think she's boring. I think her promos are boring. She's not really believable. Her wrestling moves are slow. I think she's a great person. I personally just don't want her on my TV. I can't stand watching her. So to me, whenever she comes on TV, that's my pee break. I'm just gonna go do something else.
See, like when Charlotte was in NXT and it was that era of the 4 horsewomen, right? She stood out because she was the one that had the pedigree. She was a Flair, and it was cool to see a female be part of a wrestling pedigree and get a push, but also actually be good. Like, she was a good wrestler. And then when she started being on WWE TV, they did to her what they do with these wrestlers, where it's overexposure. We don't have anyone else we're pushing right now, so we have to keep going back to the well, and we have to keep going back to Charlotte. And it just got so tired of seeing Charlotte at the top of the card every single show, every single pay-per-view. I don't want to see her in another title picture. Can you give her a single plot line that doesn't have to do with the title? No, they don't do it. It never happens. So
that's a good point. I feel like she doesn't. And not only that, they don't do her a service because they could be doing interesting storylines and they don't even attempt it. They don't even try. They just use her name as a way to push a story and to slap a title on her, almost to give her as many titles as Ric Flair, to say she's also an X amount of time champion.
And that's it.
Right.
I just don't think that can hold for very long.
This whole thing with her and Tiffany right now, Tiffany, I don't like. there's no substance to it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's really not a reason for her to not like Tiffany at all. It's just, oh, you're the champion, and this is WrestleMania season, so I want to beat you, and oh, you think you're the new me, but she's not. Tiffany isn't Charlotte. She doesn't have the wrestling pedigree. She doesn't act like Charlotte, so none of it makes sense.
She had a great promo. I loved her promo though. I felt like that might have been her best promo that she's done.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a moment. Yes, because that's after the Michin match here with Charlotte. You're right, and I actually made a note about that too. So the Michin versus Charlotte match, basically, it starts and they're having a match, and all of a sudden, Naomi runs out and attacks both B-Fab and Michin. Jade runs out for the save. Jade just has a confrontation with Charlotte, which is bizarre because they're not in the title picture. Why would Jade and Charlotte have a confrontation or whatever? So Michin can barely stand, but she's still going to have the match with Charlotte, even though she was attacked before the match.
That didn't make sense either, because normally they would just not do the match.
Right. Why are you continuing with this match if you just got messed up? Or why not delay the match till later on the card, like do it later in the night? But no, we're still going to have the match right now. Funny enough, it's still a decent match. Like, Michin actually still wrestles, so she's kind of no-sells the injuries that she got because she still puts on a decent match. Charlotte is technical for most of the match. Michin is more kind of the hard-hitting, smash-mouth kind of a wrestler. Charlotte's foot, it goes on the ropes during a pin, showing off her technical prowess. Again, she's a Flair, so she knows where she is at all times. She's aware she can put her leg on the ropes to get out of a pin attempt, which is kind of a nice touch that they still do that. But let's be very honest here. We all knew that Charlotte was going to win this match. She gets the figure 8. She wins. It was all a filler. So,
she has to win.
It seems like Michin now might actually be going towards the Jade plot line with Naomi, but which is weird because Naomi doesn't have a team, like it's just her. So I don't know why she needs to have her back or whatever. I don't know, but
that was shoehorned in. I didn't like how forced that felt. The whole backstage segment with her just suddenly being around them. I don't know. To me, I hate when WWE does that forced stuff. It's so obvious.
So now let's talk about the Tiffy interview. What did you think about the interview? Because I said here, man, number one, with her just doing a solo interview, it came off way better than this head-to-head interview they did last week of Charlotte versus Tiffany. And because there was no one countering every word she said, she got to kind of finish what she was saying. Her plot made sense. Last week, she was just starting to talk about splashing water and shit. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. This week, at least, she came off as competent, right?
So I think that they did the backstage thing again. The same thing they do with Pretty Deadly is that they like to protect them so that she has a little bit of a less. I guess you get less of that feeling of the crowd over you, watching your every move. You kind of loosen up a little.
Yeah.
So I do think that's a smart decision, and she is a good talker. I think she's getting away from that Tiffy time Barbie gimmick, and I think that's a good choice. Because I almost feel like getting away from that is going to help her. Because a lot of what she was saying was real. It came from the heart. And she always does that fake shit. So to me, I think I just liked it. And then you got Flair. She always has to get her words in. Having her shut up for a few minutes, just let her talk, was really nice. It might actually have me excited for the match. But we all know Tiffany's not winning that match. I just don't see it happening.
It's silly because here's the thing. I can definitely see this Tiffany got over with the Tiffy time gimmick, but then when she becomes the champion, do you really want a champion who's like that kind of Barbie gimmick? I mean, no, you want someone who's more serious, who's taken more seriously. So I feel like they did kind of almost force her to drop it. But now exactly what is her gimmick? That's the question. And I've been watching SmackDown now for about a month. I can't answer that question. All I know is she's the one that Charlotte wants to beat at WrestleMania. That's literally all I can say because they haven't done a good job of building up her side of this equation. The whole Charlotte side is, well, I've got the pedigree. You're the next me trying to be me, and I want to take back what's mine. I don't even know what Tiffany's new character will be or is. I'm confused, and I knew that her gimmick was Tiffy time, but she hasn't done that. So,
no, she hasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see as we get close. We still got 2 more weeks to build up to WrestleMania, but at this point, I don't know. Again, that's a match that I don't really care, and I agree with you. I think Charlotte's going to go over. If Tiffy wins, I don't think it's that exciting, even if she does retain, because we don't know what's going on with this plot anyway. It's kind of just confusing. So, okay. Up next, it is the Randy Orton-Drew McIntyre match. And I would say it is a pretty good match with good back and forth. Orton finally kind of gained full control at one point during the match. And then, of course, as the match continues, you knew it was going to happen. Kevin Owens comes out, and he starts to cause distractions during the match. And as he distracts Orton, Orton turns around, and all of a sudden, boom! Drew hits him with a giant claymore, immediately pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So now Drew beat Orton. Isn't this like Drew's first like major win over someone in like ages because he's jobbed at every match? And it's so weird because
Yeah, it's not even like a real win though, because it's another one of these interfere, lose attention, and then get hit endings, which is WWE's been doing a ton of these.
right.
But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be real. I like the match. I thought it was good, hard hitting. I don't like how it ended, but I get it. Orton and Owens have been doing this little thing at the end of every match.
Yeah.
I think they're building hype. I do hope they change the angle a little bit next week because I can only take this for so long.
And so at the end, after the pin, KO tries to pile drive Randy Orton on the announce table. And this is hilarious because this is just the week after KO had apologized to Orton for pile driving him back, in the fall and injuring him. And she, you didn't deserve it. So what's the first thing he does when he gets his hand on him? He tries to pile drive him again and take him out again, right? So Orton escapes that attempt. Then he looks like he's going to punt KO. So he's like, you're going to try to hurt me. I'm going to try to hurt you. But KO escapes, and okay, so that's their little scuffle for the week. And of course, there'll probably be more of that coming up on the road to WrestleMania in the next couple of weeks. Okay, up next, there's a little promo that Rey Fenix is on his way to SmackDown, the brother of Penta. Now, that's interesting.
Do you know anything about Rey Fenix?
I don't. Just from what people have told me on the show, that he has been popular in AEW. There was that drama in AEW. He was trying to leave. They wouldn't let him leave. He likely would have been in WWE earlier if they had let him leave, but they were holding him hostage there. I think what's funny about this, so Penta's going to be on Raw, and Rey Fenix is going to be on SmackDown. So each show now is going to have its respective Lucha brother, basically. That's going to be interesting how they're going to pull that off.
Which is weird. The announcers even said one half of the Lucha brothers at one point. So they did acknowledge that they're a tag team, but then they're going to put them on different shows. So, I like that they're doing that. I like that they're building them on their own, and they're not introducing them as a tag team. We'll see how Rey Fenix does on his own, because I think Penta's been doing great.
Yeah, I agree. And thankfully, Penta is out of that bullshit plot line with Kaiser and all that shit, and he's getting a push now. Thankfully, there's something going on with him on the road to WrestleMania. We'll talk about that when we get to Raw. So, okay. It's announced that next week, B-Fab will be wrestling Naomi in Chicago. Now, for the record, Chicago is a hot wrestling crowd. Chicago is a very hot wrestling crowd, especially now that they've got CM Punk back. I'm excited to see how this crowd will react, because I was a little nervous coming off of Europe and going back to the U.S. But if it's Chicago next week, we're probably going to have a pretty exciting crowd for that. So not to worry. For the B-Fab Naomi match, I'm not very excited. Just I don't really care about that match. All right, so up next, it's Jimmy Uso versus The Miz in this really weird match that doesn't seem to make much sense. At this point, I took a note here. This is just sad because The Miz is kind of like one of those enhancement talents. The only reason he's still in the company is because they need him for matches like this, filler matches. He's gonna let Jimmy go over because Jimmy needs to get momentum. He's gonna wrestle Gunther on Monday. But, they say it's how the mighty have fallen, because at one point he was kind of like the ultimate underdog. He was the guy who came from freaking the real world and then ended up being a wrestler, and no one bought into him. But then he ended up actually beating Cena and having the title for a while. He had a bunch of good Intercontinental runs. He's the company guy who's gone around doing promos, doing this kind of PR work for the company. So he is like a big company guy. It just sucks to see, he doesn't really have anything to do. I'd like to see him at least do something meaningful. And since I've been watching this since January, he hasn't done a damn thing that's been meaningful. It's always a throwaway match. It's always a backstage segment that's crappy. And this is no exception, in my opinion. I even said here, sadly, this is just two low to mid-carders. They're just trying to get over. But it's tough because when you look at the plot lines that these guys have, Jimmy at one point was in better plot lines when he was part of the Bloodline, but as soon as the Bloodline fell apart, they don't have anything for this guy. He's just the brother of Main Event Jay. Miz, since, you know, those plot lines fell apart ages ago, he's just the enhancement talent. And I liked seeing them wrestle. I liked them as wrestlers, but I just felt a little sad watching the match. I actually started to feel bad for both of them. Like, I guess I shouldn't feel bad for people who are probably very rich, you know, they're flying around the world doing this. But
definitely,
but still, I feel bad when I see these guys. I'm like, oh, just put them into something meaningful for this season. But I guess not.
Well, I think the Miz is okay with his position in the company. I bet you he's probably feeling pretty good. But I do agree. He's still really good on the mic, and he has his own, like, the talk show stuff that he does.
Yeah.
I forgot what he calls it. What the hell does he call it?
Miz TV.
Miz TV, yes. So I think he could be doing that to get ready for Mania. I mean, maybe, I don't know what the fuck the backstage is going on when we all know the Miz is a good talker and you can just put him in the ring for a segment. A lot of backstage segments, and I think it's because, here's my theory on that. They're good, because you're seeing guys like the Miz doing it now. I think that they know the crowd doesn't shut up in Europe, and they're like, let's just keep these guys backstage so the crowd doesn't derail the show. Because the Miz TV really should be something happening in front of the audience right now. Because if you're not gonna, if you're just gonna do these filler mid-card matches, then allow him to use the tools that he's still really good with and can still stay relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Bring a guy like Jacob Fatu on Miz TV or something.
And see what happens, right? Like the big thing was they were going to do Miz TV with Cody Rhodes, and then Cody just kicked him right in the nards, and that was the end of that. Like, they didn't even do the segment, you know? So
yes.
So sadly, this match, as I said, it was kind of a sad match. I mean, how's it going to end? We all know how it's going to end. Jimmy Uso needs the win here, so he has momentum going into Raw. He super kicks the Miz, super Uso splash, 1, 2, 3. And I even made a note here. Geez, I wonder what was the last match that Miz won. I can't remember, if I'm watching since January, if he's won a single match of all the few matches he's even had. And then Jimmy says, Gunther will be Gunther will be demoted to a private on Monday. So he's not the ring general, he's the ring private or whatever.
Nice one, Jimmy.
So Drew gets interviewed backstage by Jackie after his big win over the distracted Randy Orton. And he says, you know, when no one screws me, I win. It's funny because it's like, well, yeah, but, you know, that's because Orton got screwed.
That's his gimmick is he's delusional.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He just lives that gimmick.
He's right. He lives, you know, this great life of, he's so big in his own head when he wins, but then he can't even really win unless he gets over like a cheap win like that. So he says, you know what? Priest didn't even show up tonight after I called him out. And then all of a sudden, Damian Priest jumps him. Like, what? So there's a little brawl backstage. And then he's, I guess he hit him with, what was it? I forget which move it was, but he hit him on top of a car and it broke the car window. And he says, rest in peace, jackass.
Yeah, he said, I got glass in my eye. And I felt like Drew McIntyre sold that very well. I was impressed at how well he sold it, but I'm trying to remember this segment, but didn't a guy come out and he was like, that's my car, and then Damian Priest put him through a table? But Damian Priest is the face.
It's made in China. I should just make that clear. Of course it's made in China.
I don't know.
Like
and again, like he definitely
China.
referenced the Undertaker jab that Drew had made on him earlier in the night by saying, rest in peace, jackass. So he kind of like throws it back in his face. But again, they're obviously building to a match. We don't know what match. It hasn't been announced yet. It's kind of like rushed. I don't know about this match, but I guess we'll see. So the main event of SmackDown is this big contract signing finale, right? The big triple threat contract signing. And so Nick Aldis comes out, he blabs for a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And then finally Roman Reigns comes out. Now, there's something I've been mentioning on this show for about 3 weeks straight. Okay, I've been mentioning that ever since the match happened, the cage match between Punk and Rollins. Roman came out, he interfered with that match. You know, Seth won because of it, but he beat the crap out of both of them. He was wearing this YTC t-shirt, right? And no one's addressed it. but it definitely said YTC, but his entrance still said OTC. Then the next week he came out, and his entrance still said OTC, and his shirt said YTC. I would keep bringing this up, and everyone's, no one seems to really like catch on. All of a sudden he comes out this week, his shirt says OTC again. I was like, what? What happened?
Was this supposed to be your? Maybe the shirt wasn't selling.
I think it was supposed to be after he beat Solo back in January. Maybe the plan was he was going to be on the card more, and they were going to have him be your tribal chief because he won the Ulafala back. And something happened where he just wasn't on TV for a very long time. And so because of that, after the Rumble, he got attacked by Seth and all that. They couldn't sell the shirt. So then they started to like sneak it in, but he's not really doing the angle. So I guess they gave up on it for now. I would assume if they made the shirts, they're probably not going to toss them, but maybe they'll sell them. Maybe this will be later in the year. His gimmick will be your tribal chief. But now they're back to OTC, the old tribal chief. So there's almost 10, I timed it, okay? Almost 10 freaking minutes of chanting and screaming for the entrances. It was like a ridiculous block of just the crowd going wild while these guys are coming out, which again, I get it, it's London, but it is the main event of the show, and you hope that they can get through everything they want to get through when the crowd is just so...
It's a long segment, so like these guys are probably like, no. But I felt like it was appropriate in this situation.
I don't think about WWE
because they're closing the show. It's a contract signing, and Roman Reigns, this is the first time he's been able to have that like moment in the ring in front of that European crowd.
That's true.
And I think that this was his moment. He soaked it in. He loved it. Your tribal chief and all that stuff. And he says, "Sing to me." And he was soaking it in. He loved every second of it. Unlike Randy Orton,
he kind of acted like the mob boss again. Like he's sitting in the chair. He's like leaning back, like he's in charge, head of the table again. And he hadn't been doing that for a little bit. So it was actually kind of good to see him kind of like slink back into that role. I liked that. So up next, Seth Rollins came out, and of course the crowd sings his theme song again. And as everyone knows, I've said this already on the show, I don't really like his theme song that much. I do feel like it's kind of disjointed, and the only reason people sing it is because of the catchy part that they all know. So they start going at it. They say, we have history here. 12 years ago, we landed together in a chopper, and we put Undertaker through a table right here, and we accomplished our mission as the Shield. But that died a long time ago, and it's only been me here. I did all this work, and I made this place what it is today, and I took us to this level. I took us to Netflix and billion-dollar deals, right? It's your mindset that makes me have to keep screwing you. You let the biggest snake into our midst. So, of course, what Seth is talking about is CM Punk coming into the company and now becoming part of this main event picture. You had the chance to kill Punk at War Games. Or you could have let me finish him in that steel cage match back at Madison Square Garden, but now I got to clean up your mess again because you couldn't do it. So then, of course, CM Punk enters, and here we go again with the entrance and everything.
Can we just rewind a second to that interaction between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns?
Sure.
Because there's a lot there, and I do believe that Roman Reigns is gonna get screwed. I've been watching wrestling long enough to know that we keep hearing this from Seth Rollins, that like you let this snake in and he's gonna do this and you're gonna regret this. And there's definitely something happening where Punk is going to screw Roman. This has been foreshadowed multiple times. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens during that triple threat match, but I see it coming because they've been saying it. So we'll have to see, but this is classic WWE.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. Again, the big question mark is, where do Paul Heyman's loyalties lie? What is this mysterious favor that he owes CM Punk? How is it gonna come into play? Is there gonna be a double screw job, a triple screw job? Right? Like everyone's got a different idea of how this is gonna go down, and it's exciting. I like that. I like it when you have a match that's hype and you don't know what's going to happen. There's nothing worse than like kind of already, like, we kind of know Jey Uso is going to defeat Gunther. It's going to be a boring match because of that. Here, we got 3 top guys in a triple threat. The X factor is Heyman. What's going to happen? We don't know who Heyman's going to ally with, who's going to win, how this will now line up for after WrestleMania for title matches and the like. So, yeah, I do like this angle, this kind of question mark.
So I love it too. And everybody, I'll get to the CM Punk idea in the favor because you alluded to it just a little bit with allegiances, Paul Heyman. Everyone thinks that the favor has to do with Roman Reigns. The favor, he never explicitly said that the favor involves Roman Reigns. People just made this assumption. He said that Paul Heyman owes him a favor. He's been saying this. It's never been anything to do with Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns could sit there in his chair and be like, main event, check. But at the end of the day, he never said that this was any sly at Roman.
Right.
So I remember a moment back during the lead up to WrestleMania 40, and Paul Heyman had 2 phone numbers. You might not remember this, Phil. You weren't watching.
No, I wasn't watching, so I don't know this. Yeah.
But he would be like, call Roman Reigns.
not hear
And there was
any
2
complaints
times
from me
where he
now.
would say, call The Rock. So Paul Heyman has The Rock in his back pocket. And I know that CM Punk came out and said what he said about The Rock. You know, you're stupid shit. But I know he said all that. But I would not be surprised if he tries to get Paul Heyman to pull some strings with The Rock. And there's a little bit of a double cross going on at the end of Mania. And because I could see this triple threat happening, and maybe Punk loses. It is what it is. Next thing you know, maybe Cody or Cena wins the match. If Cody wins the match, this actually makes this theory mean more. Cody beats Cena. CM Punk's music plays. Punk comes in and beats Cody for the title, gets his favor for The Rock. The Rock lets and basically double crosses the fans. Because this is just a big wish on me, but to close out the show with CM Punk being the champion, because he's kind of alluded at it multiple times. Before Royal Rumble, CM Punk looked at Cody in the eyes and said, everyone wants to stab you in the back. I'm stabbing you in the front. Basically told him point blank, I'm going to stab you right in the front. Don't blink. It's happening. Then after he lost the Rumble, he got out there on the announce table and he said, everyone thinks my main event chances are over. Not so sure about that. He didn't know about this triple threat thing happening. He had no idea. He was crying at the end of SmackDown about this triple threat thing because he had no idea it was closing the show. So when he said that after Royal Rumble, that wasn't even a thought in his head. He could have been referring to something that we don't know anything about. So with the stabbing of Cody on my mind, and then him saying, people think my chances are done, I'm not so sure about that after Royal Rumble, I don't know. Something's happening in there. Something's going on there. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but we're smart guys for a reason.
That's right. And at the same time, when you think this angle through, okay, if you were owed a favor by Paul Heyman, and it could be called upon at any time, and you know that Heyman is a powerful guy, not to say that he is The Rock or Vince McMahon or whatever, but he has a lot of swing. Would you really be using your favor for a triple threat match that literally doesn't matter? It doesn't matter who wins this match at WrestleMania. It doesn't change anything. No one's the champion. No one loses the championship. Perhaps that is the key, because when you look at WrestleManias of the last several years, there's always a 2-night kind of build-up lead-in event that carries over. And this year, there's not. Last year, you had that first match where it was the tag match. That would determine a stipulation for the next match the next night. They're not doing that this year. So what if, you're right, what if the main event of night 1 is this triple threat? And then it doesn't really matter how it goes, but everyone thinks that CM Punk is going to call in that favor. But then all of a sudden, the main event of night 2 is Cody versus Cena. And no matter who wins the match, all of a sudden, when you think WrestleMania is going off the air, Paul Heyman comes out and he says, I have to fulfill a favor, and then all of a sudden, CM Punk's music hits and he's got a title match. That would be very interesting. Wow. That would be super interesting.
A lot of wrestling fans, we make these theories, and half the time they don't come true. But I'm just trying to read what I hear. And this is what I hear Punk saying.
Yeah.
And they love to swerve fans, and all the fans are saying it's Roman related. Mr. Cake, Sting was my favorite wrestler too as a kid. I'm surprised I never brought that up. We were talking earlier. But anyway, yeah, back to the point. That's my feelings on it.
That's an interesting take, because I think, again, that's the X factor here for WrestleMania. What's the favor and how will it come? And maybe you're right. It's not what anyone's thinking. It has nothing to do with this match. I think that would be a fascinating spin on it. So, okay. So CM Punk enters. By the way, this is a contract signing for the record. So they're all signing the contract as they're out there. I guess
weird.
We should
a random
mention
triple
that.
threat has a contract signing. It's
yeah.
So weird.
So Punk comes out and he basically says he uses the Roddy Piper line about I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, right? But he said, but I'm all out of gum. And then he reads the contract. Roman makes fun of him for reading the contract, I guess, because no one else read it. They just signed it, and he's actually reading the contract. And then Paul says, hey, Punk, so you're closing the show at WrestleMania. Now you get to live your dream. This is finally the main event that you've always wanted. And he kisses CM Punk. So, of course, that makes everyone think this is the favor. That finally Heyman got him into the main event of WrestleMania through all these interactions that have happened over the last several months. So Seth Rollins freaks out and he goes, no, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to be in the main event. He's like, I got a big, like a sissy fit. A big.
So that was insanely cringe, I thought.
Yeah. So Punk thanks the fans. And then Roman says, forget the fans. You should be thanking the tribal chief. I'm the one who made this possible. And so it alludes again that this is the favor from War Games. And so Punk does go over to him, and he very sarcastically thanks him. Says, thank you, by tribal chief Roman.
We're gonna make
But,
love to each other
and this
tonight.
is cool, he goes, that's not the favor that I was owed. And he drops the mic, and the show goes completely off the air. Doesn't even show what happened after that.
You saw Roman immediately look at Paul as if Paul told him it was the favor, which I thought was interesting.
Right. So here we go. I mean, that's cool. This is getting me very excited for this. This was a match that at one point, honestly, I didn't care about because what are the stakes? There are none, right? But now I'm excited because I want to know what that dang favor is. I want to know, is it about this match
pay
or
off
not?
at Mania. We better see the payoff at Mania. That's been like, and I got to be honest, this entire card sucked. That was the only thing I cared about. I'm going to be real. The entire card could have not have happened, and all we could have seen was this closing contract signing, and I would have been full. Like,
right.
I get the Cody segment with Randy Orton. I think that is going to plant the seeds for a future feud. So it's fine. It's whatever. But everything else was just kind of meh. Not even mid. It was less than mid. This card was just, they could have done better. Hopefully in Chicago, it's a little
And the
better.
sad fact is it was London, and they had a hot crowd, but a lot of the wrestling just was filler matches and crappy promos. And like, why are we doing this? They had to advance certain plot lines. I get it, but like you said, I hope next week's is better. Being in Chicago, hot crowd, Punk will be there, so it's probably going to be pretty wild. All right, so everyone, that was SmackDown. We do have Monday Night Raw to get through and cover. Just to get everyone up to snuff here, currently we are still at, I believe, let's see here, $68 of support so far tonight. Remember, when we hit 100, we'll be doing our first unpacking, and one of these 3 packs has the rare chase in it. So let's get to 100 by the end of tonight, all right? Right now, we got only 1 sub on Kick. We had a couple small super chats. We did have some tips, which was very generous. Thank you, Alex from Phoenix, for the big one. Let's get some more support tonight, all right? Let's hit that 100 in the next few minutes, actually, because I would love to do this unpacking before we actually get too heavily into Raw so that we can see if we can get that chase, okay? Cell Streams is asking you, actually, who do you think is the most athletic wrestler that's working today? Do you think that anyone who actually wrestles could actually go over to the UFC? Man, I don't even know about that. Like, UFC is just a different animal, right?
So you gotta think about who they always say is like tough and who could do it. And Brock Lesnar I heard he's out of shape. I think I saw a picture. Now, I don't know if it's current or not. I saw a picture. He is totally out of shape. I thought he was going to make a return at one point. I don't think he is now. That was my originally. I thought that was the favor. It was Brock Lesnar related. I don't think anymore that's happening. But as for the most athletic, and those are two different questions. The most athletic wrestler right now, it has to be Seth Rollins, no? Like in terms of like, I mean, athletic. What is judged like athletic wrestler would be Seth Rollins.
Pill,
athletic,
and that's it, because you're just gonna waste our time.
Like just the stuff they do in the ring.
Yeah, see, it's a hard question because like we've seen pro wrestlers trying to make the jump and it never really works. Brock's like the one exception where he had that unique crossover build that he could be dominant in UFC, but outside of that, all these wrestlers, it's just a different thing. It really is. It's just choreographed stuff versus actual combat is just so different, you know?
You got like two different styles. You got like the big brute, but he's kind of slow. And then you got the really agile guy that isn't really strong. Like, could they survive a UFC fight? And like, because I could say Braun Strowman easily, but does Braun Strowman have the stamina to last in a UFC match?
No way.
They run circles around him.
Exactly. He'd be gassing within a few minutes, I feel. You know, he wouldn't be able to do anything. So I don't know.
I'm going to say Bobby Lashley. I'll just say Bobby Lashley. I know he's AEW, but he's the one guy that I think could do. You know what? Chad Gable is a great choice considering his accolades in athletics with like, you know, pro wrestling. That's a great choice. But for the sake of it, I'm going to say that Bobby Lashley could survive UFC. I don't know if he's going to win UFC because he's kind of old, but I know he's in shape. He's on television right now. You see it week to week. I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley as the guy that could survive it.
I think this would have been a much easier question if we were talking like when UFC used to actually let you do a style, like when UFC started. There were actual classes. It was like there was grapplers versus kickboxers versus now everyone is this hybrid style where it's jujitsu and everything together. So everyone's almost kind of the same. But back then it was so unique. You could say, oh, well, yeah, you know, Kurt Angle could have done it because he's such a good actual technical wrestler that he could have got in there and submitted people. But today it's like, I don't know if anyone in WWE has a skill set where you could go in there and just be this like hybrid style and actually run through people. I don't really see it.
It's just like anything. It's just like gaming. It's just like sports. It's just like you find a way to like, I guess the words min-max the game. And like as a wrestler, like you can't do one style because then you're at a disadvantage. So like you got to learn other things. So they kind of found a unique style that works for them. Just like in a game, like you're playing Street Fighter and you know that these certain combos is the meta. So you're going to do that because that works. You can't go with the same thing every time. So you kind of learn this guy's style, that guy's style. I'm going to put it together. You know more than anybody. And like same thing with sports like football and stuff or basketball, the evolution of it. So I do think UFC needed to evolve to become better. That doesn't take away from the talent previous, because everyone participates in the evolution of sports. So I'm glad UFC did change. But again, I'm going to stick with Bobby Lashley. I know because people in chat right now are saying that he's already kind of introduced himself. So it's kind of a safe answer. But if you don't want a safe answer, then I'll go
get down on my
Chad
hands and
Gable.
knees and say thank you and still be on camera.
Great.
I
got that from chat.
And I'm going to go with Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly would go in there and start dancing, and then it would just distract the opponents and take them right out with like a, you know, a clutch or something, you know, choke them out. Okay.
No reaction. Nobody in the
probably like they'll be confused, like they're not even supposed to be here. Who is this? What the hell is going on?
This must be the cheerleaders.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's head into Monday Night Raw. If any more contributions come in tonight, which I would appreciate, I would like to at least get to opening one pack tonight. I will do live shout outs. So please, let's get some support before the end of the show. Let's head on to Monday Night Raw. So this was Monday night, March 31st. Again, this was from the same exact arena, the London O2 Arena. And tonight, some interesting matches. First, we have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky for the Women's Championship with Bianca Belair as the referee. is there a snowball's chance in hell that this match will actually go down and have a really legit finish? I mean, come on. We obviously know that this is not going to happen. It's
No,
pretty
of course
apparent.
Based on the track record we've seen in the last few weeks, no, we're not there yet.
We've got Logan Paul who will call out AJ Styles tonight. So yes, they are full speed ahead with this Logan Paul AJ Styles match at WrestleMania. And as previously announced back on SmackDown, Jimmy Uso will be wrestling Gunther tonight. Alrighty then. For the third week in a row, Raw opens with John Cena. And so he comes out. Now, I will say this. The last 2 weeks, I strongly criticize John Cena's shirts because they're selling them to this international crowd. And this is what the last time is now, is his gimmick now. And
yes.
I haven't liked these shirts because it's just him posing very generically with a different color. This week for London, they actually had him in the soldier garb. I forget what it's called. What's the name of those soldiers that aren't allowed to move at Buckingham Palace?
You have a UK fan base. I know that for a fact, which is shocking to me.
Yeah.
How many UK fans you have? I never would have expected a guy from America to have so many. So they guarantee they know. Somebody in chat knows what that's called.
Whatever it is, the soldier has the big fluffy hats and everything. So he's dressed like that on the shirt. And I'm like, that's a cool shirt. Like, to see John Cena look like that, that's a unique shirt. I would want that shirt if I actually went to the show. So I kind of feel like the rest of the European tour got cheated because they saved the best shirt for the last Raw there. All right. So he comes out, and as he's about to speak, Cody Rhodes immediately cuts him off and enters. So it looks like we will not get a giant one-sided speech from John Cena this week like we've had from the past 2 weeks.
I hate to interrupt, but it's good because I feel like the last
How
2
dare you
weeks,
interrupt me like Cody interrupted Cena? How could you? Okay, go ahead.
we needed that because Cody, I felt like, was just a third wheel in this match between Cena and the fans. And I feel like everybody's been asking for a nice promo, a back and forth between Cena and Cody, but we weren't getting it. So thank God we are getting it here, which is what you're about to talk about.
Yes.
I'm just happy it's happening because I was getting worried because rumor is Cena's not going to be on television until Mania. And I hope that's not true either.
Yeah.
But the rumor is that this might be the last time we see Cena until WrestleMania.
So it's funny because Cody comes out, and of course, every time Cody comes out, the whole crowd sings his song lyric by lyric. And John Cena puts on this disgusted, angry face. Like, oh, he's so upset that they're singing his song when he comes out. He can't take it. It like kills him inside. So Cody basically says, I know you think you're about to cook me here, but you know what? I'm going to cook myself. Here, what can I say? Stardust. And of course, the crowd go, oh my God, the Stardust character. I have an arm tattoo, but it's on my neck. And the crowd pops for that one. He's basically roasting himself. This big laundry list of things that you can make fun of him. He has a lisp, right? Oh, yes, Cody Rhodes has a lisp. So he says, I got booed in the company that I created. And everyone, of course, oh, yeah, AEW. So he says, maybe my problem right now with all of this, with the fact that you're out here and you say you're going to cook me, I think my problem is I'm struggling to believe that Superman is really dead. And that line actually hit a chord with me because for so many years, everyone said Super Cena. Cena's like Superman, right?
Yes,
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Everybody.
He buries
Never
everyone.
loses.
He can't be beaten. He's the goody two-shoes. He doesn't care who he crushes. Like Superman, he's unstoppable, right? So that was a good line, I felt, because if John Cena truly is turning heel, then it means that he's throwing away all of that. He's giving away all of that superhero, good guy, unstoppable kind of a mantra. He says,
I do feel like the fans kind of like, again, got involved in the middle. So I feel like Cody was just trying to get a feel for the promo, and then the fans started with their chanting and stuff, and I do feel like it threw him off a little. When he referenced the neck tattoo, there was kind of like an awkward disconnect between that and the fans, and I don't want to say this was a great promo, but I do feel like the fans kind of cut that short. I feel like Cody was about to say more, and the fans got involved, and he couldn't get it all out. And then, of course, you're going to go into what John Cena responded to.
Right. Okay. So Cody says, I feel like you've lied to the audience for the last 2 weeks because I used to roll with you, right? We used to be road buddies, basically. I used to drive you around. I was kind of your chauffeur. And I know that you actually care about these people. So all that crap that you've said in your promos over the last 2 weeks about you don't think they appreciate you and all that, you made it all up. It's all baloney. So I want to know tonight, right now, really why you are doing what you're doing. Why did you sell out to The Rock? And why are you basically turning heel? So John says, well, you know what? I'm not going to punch down to your level to protect you. I'm not going to just cook you. Tonight, I'm going to bury you like everyone says I've buried everyone else. Because like everyone says, John Cena just buries talent. He says, no. The problem is I am the talent, and all I ever did was bury mediocrity around me.
That is a great line. That is the best quote that came out of the Well, there's another one, but that was my favorite quote that came out of this whole promo right there.
See, I like the line. I do. I like the line. But quite frankly, if you were living through wrestling during that time period, that's just not true. There were many people who were up-and-comers who could have had a chance if WWE did not decide to make Super Cena, to make the unbeatable champion, the second Hulk Hogan, basically, right? If he wasn't that, you could have had other people who actually got to positions like his, and there would have been other people who would have been believable heroes and believable faces who could go for the title. The problem was they hit that brick wall called John Cena, and every one of them fell and couldn't stand up. And take a look at guys like Umaga, who were like white hot, crazy, awesome villain, and then they wrestle Cena. Cena beats him by choking him out with the ropes, and now Umaga's character is destroyed, and no one cares about Umaga anymore. He's a joke at this point, you know?
Yeah,
and
you're not completely wrong, Phil. You're not completely wrong with that. But I like that Cena's living the gimmick. You know what I mean? And that's like a perfect heel thing to say.
Yes.
A lot of what he said was kind of not based in reality, but it's all based on what Cena needs to say.
Right.
And honestly, I don't even think Cena, and I know this gets alluded to later, but a lot of it seemed very forced. And I feel like his intensity didn't match Cody's intensity. This whole first half of John Cena's talking was like it was so high octane when it didn't need to be. Like he was so everything he said, I want to believe, and it sounded good. And if you read it to me paper quote for quote, then yeah, awesome. It all sounds great. But when you listen to it, Cena is like he just sounds like he's so loud, and it just didn't really seem believable to me. And Cena doesn't usually sound like that. You usually believe everything he's saying. And in this case, I just felt like he was a little, I don't even think he was believing what he was saying. And
it very well could be that we're just not used to hearing Cena as a heel. You know what I mean? Like he's always been the face. And now that he's getting to the heel stuff and he's saying this over-the-top stuff, because I agree with you. I think that this is what the heel would say. The heel would say, everyone around me was mediocre. I wasn't burying talent. I was just burying mediocrity because I was the talent. That's a perfect heel line.
Yes.
Maybe he just doesn't know how to deliver heel lines because he hasn't done it. It's been, 20 years since the mid-2000s when he was, the original Hustle Cena coming out, thugonomics and everything. And back then he was talking like he was an e-thug, white rapper and everything. It was a very different character. So
perfect 2000s gimmick. I mean, he slam dunked that gimmick right around the time where everyone's wearing jerseys and man, it totally made sense. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it has a lot to do with the fact that he's not feeling it and we're not used to seeing it, and it's a little mix of both.
Right. So continuing on with this promo, basically, Cena says your ego. Let me make sure this is the right. Yes, he says your ego outmatched your ability. Your ego, Cody, outmatches your ability. You're just riding my coattails. Remember when you were my chauffeur? You disgust me. And that's why I'm actually really upset right now. That's why I've turned. You stole every secret from me from back in the day. But even knowing all the secrets I taught you back in the day when you were my chauffeur, you're still underwhelming in the modern era. You're just too perfect. You're too polished. You're way too rehearsed. You rely on them out there, that crowd, to actually give you power. It's them singing your name when you come in with your entrance that makes you seem like a larger than life character. It's not you. It's not your wrestling. It's them. It's their buy-in. And I remember he even said that basically, you know, you're like a Pied Piper. If you didn't have your music or your entrance, there's nothing left but that cheap suit that you're wearing right now. And you're actually afraid to show this crowd who you really are. You're a generic mix of every other face. It makes you look like you're just a teenager in dress up out here. So, I mean, he's ripping Cody Rhodes apart, like eviscerating him. And this is legit criticisms that the wrestling fans have been giving Cody ever since, you know, he came back to WWE. And then when he won the title last year at WrestleMania, that it kind of broke that image when he became champion. And people saw, okay, so his story ended, right? He finished the story. But what's the next story? Does anyone care? It hasn't been. It's been a very underwhelming year of nothing really going on with this guy as your champion. And does that expose the fact that maybe it really was the hype that was the thing people liked, not Cody himself? I don't know.
It's the chase. And that's been the Rhodes' thing, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's always the chase for the title. And when they get the title, and I think Cody needs to accept that. Maybe that is his role, to chase the title. That's just, you know, you get put in that position. I also don't believe what Cena's saying 100%. Cody there's a big, huge fan base that bleeds Cody. They don't even know who the fuck Cena is. And they have the Cody merch and they're wearing the Cody replica titles with the little side panels. And I think that Cena needs to recognize that he was in Cody's position many years ago with this child's fan base. So if anybody's familiar with it, it's Cody. And Cena can't claim fame to this because in reality, the fans that cheer for Cody, the children that is, don't know who the fuck Cena is because Cena hasn't been on their television winning a match in years.
That's right. And it's just like, it's almost generational. So Cody Rhodes is the modern day hype hero. But we've had Cena for like 15 plus years. He was the hype hero. Before him, there was another one. Before him, I mean, all the way back to Hogan. Like Hogan really was that first Superman character that couldn't be beaten. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. And they just go back to that every once in a while. And it works. It works with the young crowd. So I get the promo. And it works as a big heel promo.
Do you think this is the modern Rock versus Hogan? Would you go that far?
I don't know. Like, I don't get that vibe because, like, Rock versus Hogan was more, this is the new generation of what's popular versus the old guard, right? I don't get that with Cody and Cena. I get this is the new Cena versus the original Cena. That's what I get. It's kind of like two of the same. I didn't feel like Rock and Hogan were the same. I felt like Rock was the evolution of what Hogan had been and changed it to be more Attitude Era. While in this case, I'll be honest, I do think Cody is very Cena-esque in a lot of the ways he conducts himself and everything. Yeah. I get the points they're making. They make sense, in my opinion. So I felt like Hogan losing to Rock was a passing of the torch to a new style. In this case, if Cena loses to Cody, it's just saying, well, you're the new me. But it's not really a new style. It's just the new Cena, the next Cena in line. So it is a little different, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I could see that. I was just curious. I don't know if I get that vibe either, but like I've heard people kind of mentioning it, and I just want to get your opinion on it because I think if you look at it through the eyes of a newer wrestling fan, to them it's like they only know Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Cody Rhodes has been the champion for a year now, so to them it's like,
it's a generational thing. It really is. Every generation seems to have their superhero character, and that's who they know as that. Like in that time when Cena was Super Cena, people hated his guts. But now the next generation sees him as like a hero. Like, oh, he was liked. Actually, he wasn't. It was only kids who liked him. Everyone else hated this guy because he just kept squashing everybody. People were tired of it. All right. So continuing on with the promo, Cena says it's not where your tattoo is, it's what it is. It exposes that you're just a common fan like everybody else out there in that crowd. You're just an errand boy, my errand boy, that got lucky, and now I'm going to take away your real belt. So then after the fact, when I leave this company with that belt, they're going to have to get another toy belt to replace it. And then that's it basically. And then it goes over to Cody. And Cody says, well, you know, maybe you're right. maybe I was chosen. But unlike you, who was chosen by corporate Vince and all the guys in the back thinking that you were just going to make everyone big money, I was chosen by them out there. I was chosen by the fans. I truly am like the new people's champion instead of just being Vince's champion. You're just a company creation, but I am not. You had more, he says, you had more dick in your promo than in your shorts. Is that what he said?
I don't know about that line. That was an interesting line. He's trying to make fun of his fans.
Yeah, a shorts chant. I don't know. And then he says, you have created an entire generation of disenfranchised fans who want to go elsewhere. You left WWE, and it was worse than before you'd actually been here. Between you and I, who's the one who actually sold out to The Rock? And he says, you're still my hero, but you're a piece of shit. He just keeps going. He keeps tearing into him. I was never protected from a crowd or a superstar. No one has been worthy, so I decided to do it myself. So that was Cena that said that. And Cena says,
Cena strikes back, which I like this next quote by Cena.
So let's see here. What does he say? He says, I never left for Hollywood. No one ever surpassed me. You left WWE because you weren't worthy to wipe my ass at the time. I built empires for the McMahons, i.e. for corporations, but you stole the kids' money? I'm confused.
He's talking about Tony. So he's talking about Tony Khan. So basically what he's saying, he's saying, I built empires for millionaires. I think he said I made millionaires billionaires.
Yes.
For billionaires, and you just steal from their kids. So he's trying to say Tony Khan being the child of the owner of the Jaguars, I believe.
Right.
And you stole money from them, which is not true because the company's still existing. It's not like there was some kind of fucking pyramid scheme going on where he's stealing money. But I get it. Again, it's another heel line, and I love the line because it hit right, and it's like, oh shit. So like Cena's still looking for he's still looking to be like, I'm the guy on the mic that no one can beat. But Cody stood his own, and I thought that it was fine. It's exactly what I was looking for, I'll tell you that.
I see. Here's the thing. So they end it, by the way, and this is interesting. After the line that Cena says, where he says, I built empires, I turned millionaires into billionaires while you were stealing money from the kids of billionaires. Cody says, well, I've actually never been chanted at, you can't wrestle. And when he said that, Cena gets so angry that he tries to attack him with a cheap shot, and then Cody reverses it and does the crossroads. So here's the thing. Like, I've liked these buildups these last few weeks of Cena giving his reasons why he's going heel, that it was always about the fans. To be honest, this to me was the best one. The reason being, it's not just about the fans anymore. He actually does have a personal gripe against Cody Rhodes, and that's the reason why he's done this big heel turn. That's better to me than, I'm turning on the fans. That's kind of like a generic wishy-washy thing that every heel has done over the years, especially guys like Batista. Remember Batista? He was the big fan favorite. I hate you fans. You guys didn't do anything for me. It's the same whiny kind of a plot. This makes it personal. Now the match not only is for the title, but it's kind of personal grudge match between these two guys. They both took personal digs that actually are about their real life history and their real life going through as, going to AEW and John Cena doing stuff. I liked this promo the best by far out of all the ones that they've done. But I was actually thinking about this at the end. How can they top this? Like, what could you do that would be better than this before WrestleMania? Because they kind of went for all the low blows all at once in this one promo. But now that you're telling me that Cena's not going to be on TV, I'm like, maybe that's why they did it all. Yeah. And now they're just going to recap this the next 2 weeks. They'll clips every Raw,
God. I hope we see The Rock to kind of sprinkle in there just a little bit. We still haven't heard The Rock's take on this, and it's been 3 weeks going on 4. At the end of it all, it was a great promo. It established them finally going at each other. I heard your take on Cena with the fans thing. That would have totally worked back when we both went to WrestleMania and everyone was expecting a heel turn. And then he came out on Monday Night Raw the next night and said, y'all were expecting a little heel turn. And he moved his heel. I don't know if you recall that.
Yes.
So that would have worked then because the fans were doing, that's when Cena sucked. Let's go Cena. That's when it started. And it would have been made sense if he did that promo then. But now it's like it's been so many years. People have been saying this for over 10 years now. You've never cared about it, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that you care about it.
Yeah.
You're right. It's kind of weird. It's not believable. It would have been believable then. It's not believable now.
I do want to say shout out to Spawn Killer. He did a $2 super chat and said they are called the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. Is that true? They're called dragoons?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
Holy
I've never
crap.
been to the
If
UK.
so, that's pretty impressive. I do know that they're called the Royal Guard. I was aware of that, but I did think they had a formal name. So that gets us up to $70, everybody. Just so you know, we're 30 away from opening a pack tonight by the end of the
Let's
show
go.
here.
Man, we got a 1/3 chance. If you do some Steiner math here, we got a 1 1/3 chance of pulling a what's it called? The chase card? What are they?
I think they're called a rare. It's like a rare refractor. It's weird
Let's
because
get
there's
some rare refractors, guys.
There's different ones
one
in here that you can go. The one you want is the signature card, but those are like ultra rare that you'll ever get a signature card. Those are only like a few in the entire set, but you're guaranteed to at least get one of the rare pulls in one of these 3 packs. So let's get some support by the end of the show, everybody. All right, continuing on. The new day enters, and it's just funny. It's funny because their new theme. They just like new day something and new day something and new day something. I'm like, I don't even know what they're saying, but all you hear is like the new day sucks and they really fucking suck and this theme kind of sucks. It's just bad.
That's AI generated. I don't know what to tell you.
It does sound AI generated. All this music that they've been adding it's just not resonating with me. I guess too old school for all this new stuff. So they're wrestling the new Catch Republic, who's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, both NXT UK alumni from back in the day, and Tyler Bate coming back, I guess, from an injury. And this is cool. Obviously, they're in London, so the crowd's hot for this match, obviously.
Another European style tag team for the crowd to get behind, which makes perfect sense. Plus, the new Catch Republic hasn't really been getting much of I don't even know if they have a Mania match. I don't if that's right.
No, I don't think so. If they do, it'll probably be one of the pre-show matches or something, I'm sure.
So it's good to see them out there against the New Day. The New Day is clearly heading towards a match at Mania.
So it's a great match. There's a lot of technical work from the new Catch Republic. There's great tag work by the New Day, that classic kind of work where they're tagging fast in and out, getting a hit or two, tag back in, double team, isolate, make sure that Pete Dunne cannot get to his tag partner. And so this goes on for a long time, and then finally Dunne does escape, hits the hot tag, airplane spin on Kofi. I find it funny that in 2025 we still got guys who are actually selling the airplane spin. It's just a funny move, but it's good to see it out there because they used to do that shit all back in the day in the 80s, and it's just a cool move. Dunne kicks out of the SOS, which I was shocked at because I thought SOS, for a long time was the finisher, but Dunne kicks out of that. Lots of back and forth. Eventually, Woods gets a hold of Pete Dunne. Kofi does the tag, comes in, and he does this top rope flying stomp. So I guess this is their new finisher.
Shout out to Kofi Kingston, by the way. He's been doing it for so long. I saw him live at Backlash many years ago, and who was he? I think it was a dark match. He wasn't even on the card, and I was watching it. And that's back when he had the Jamaican gimmick. And I hear them shouting.
Oh my god!
So he hasn't missed a beat. He looks just as athletic as he looked back then. It's so good to see somebody like that, who takes those bumps and still does it. People were talking about athletic in the chat earlier. He is one of the guys that's still going.
Yeah, this new finisher, he gets height off the top rope, and I guess they're calling this the Daybreaker, and I think this is the first time that they've used it, or maybe second time they've used it. This top rope flying stomp move, and so they get the win on the New Catch Republic, and then as they're celebrating, the War Raiders come out, and this is obviously what's next. Is that probably at WrestleMania it's going to be the New Day versus the War Raiders for those tag titles. So. There you go.
What do you think of the War Raiders? You were thinking, you were talking about 80s style stuff. The War Raiders are so from that, but they've kind of modified them a little to be a little more modern.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did, by the way, but they're really looking great right now, in my opinion.
They were really good in NXT, and that's actually, I saw them when they were debuting in NXT years ago, and they were that hard-hitting smash mouth style wrestling. They were powerful, they were actually called War Machine outside of WWE, but they couldn't keep that name going in because of copyright reasons. And then it's like once they, again, just like all these teams, they go from the NXT to the main roster. You can't be that. We've got to change everything. You're going to really be Vikings now. And you got to tone this down. You have to have comedy. What?
It's
no.
Kevin's fault.
Why are you
No,
ruining
they're
these guys?
badasses.
So now
They're
they've
supposed to-
they've been able to recover somewhat, thankfully. But
Yeah.
it's just, it feels like a slow start for them. They got the titles, but it doesn't feel like they have momentum, right? Isn't that odd that they're the champions, but they don't feel like they have any momentum right now? So them getting into this program with New Day might be what they need, you know?
Yes, they also need a voice, and I think because they're all power, and they need to have a little bit of voice. The reason why the Steiners worked is because they had a voice.
Yeah.
The reason why back in the day the Road Warriors worked is because they had a voice. And I
Yeah.
do feel like the War Raiders are missing that key factor that gets these power teams over. But I want to go to the New Day because I didn't expect this to happen at Mania. A few months back, they had alluded to, breaking up the New Day, and then they had brought out Big E, and they had that confrontation with Big E. They basically blamed everything on him, made him look
Right.
like a piece of shit, said
Right.
you're never coming back, you lied to the fans. I said to myself, wouldn't it be so fucking cool if this is all just a big work and Big E shows up at Royal Rumble and eliminates both of them? But the New Day wasn't even in the Rumble.
Right.
So
Yeah.
my hopes for that to happen, where you get this almost like he comes back, it's a huge deal, it's a huge pop, and he says, "Remember all that shit you said to me? Well, I'm back, and now I'm going to take you guys out because I'm going to teach you guys a lesson, and maybe we can get this." They never did any of that, so that was a little disappointing. So part of me seeing the New Day is like, oh man, that would have been great to get Big E
I
back into
know.
it. Maybe
Maybe
Big E really is that
someday,
hurt.
we keep seeing these medical breakthroughs. Like at one point, if you remember, no one ever thought that Edge would wrestle again. No one ever thought that at one point, the broken necks that were happening. Several people had that surgery.
Daniel Bryan,
right? We're able to come back.
and then Lita too.
Maybe one day we will get to that point where we're going to have Big E back. I think that would be amazing, but I think WWE has done the right thing here, because if they have him come back and God forbid, something happens to this guy because he's still at such high risk, you don't want to see a guy get paralyzed in the ring. Better
I
safe
just
than
felt
sorry,
like, don't you think that's where they were headed? Because think about how you had that huge, impactful moment, and then the New Day disappears.
Yeah.
They're not even, and then they're doing nothing for the longest time. Every once in a while they're like, "Hi, we're still here," but they just did nothing. And then all of a sudden they're getting pushed into this tag team match last minute right before Mania, which I have no problem with. I just feel like something was supposed to happen. And
Yeah.
it fell through. It's a
Yeah.
little awkward.
It does suck. I mean, I like seeing New Day in a picture with War Raiders. If they can hype this up in 2 weeks quick, then I think this will be good for Mania. I guess we'll see. Sadly, you know what this is going to be? This is going to be a pre-show match. I feel it is going to be like their pre-show warm-up match is going to be this tag match
on
again.
YouTube live to get people to order the
This is probably like the 17th time New Day has been that too at WrestleMania. It's just so sad that they always get like that one match before they're actually on the main card. So Jimmy Uso tonight is going to face Gunther, and he says he wants to stand alone against him. He will close this noise, and he's going to get stomped. I put a note here. He's going to get stomped in this match, isn't he? I just got this bad feeling that Jimmy's going to get like crushed, and then just be careful, Jay tells Jimmy. So, so the match starts. It's Jimmy Uso versus Gunther. Gunther manhandles Jimmy right from the get-go, starts slapping him around and everything. Finally, Jimmy seems to turn the tides a little bit. He does do a suicide dive at one point to the outside, but even the suicide dive is kind of weak. He does like a lean over on his shoulder. It doesn't look very convincing. He barely touches Gunther. There's a superplex and an Uso splash, but Gunther immediately kicks out, and at that point, I'm like, this is going to be over in 10 seconds. Like, if Gunther kicked out of the Uso splash, and we know that's basically Jimmy's move, if he's not going to get him on that first splash, this is going to be it. And sadly, I was absolutely right. Gunther powerbombs him. 1, 2, nope. Gunther picks him up. I'm not done with this guy yet. I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. He picks him up. Another powerbomb. More big clothesline. Puts him down again. 1, 2, nope. Picks him up again. Just keeps punishing Jimmy Uso. And remember, Jimmy said to Jay, don't come out and interfere. So basically, Jimmy is taking his licks here, and it's of his own making. Finally, he puts Jimmy into a submission hold and gets the win. He puts him out, and so Gunther wins, but refuses to remove the hold. He's still choking out Jimmy, so then Jay comes in for the save. Of course, Gunther runs like a coward, but then he comes back after the commercial break, which was pretty funny. They went to break, and then they came back like, wait, Gunther's back all of a sudden, and he's attacking Jay.
So I watched the version that didn't have that ad.
Oh,
So,
you
like, I
didn't,
didn't even-
see the break? Oh, okay.
I didn't even know that was happening. So they were working on him outside. And now this makes a little more sense. So they waited for that break. They waited to come back from break to bring it, because it was weird, because you see it all happening and you see Gunther run into the crowd. And then if you you saw the break, so you didn't see what was happening.
Yeah.
So like they're just backstage working. I mean, not backstage. They're side of the apron working on him. And I'm like, this is weird, because I didn't know they went to break. I'm like, why are they focusing on this so long?
Yeah.
Gunther must be coming back. And then that's when I seen him. He came around the corner, and I'm like, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. Like, so that's funny. I didn't know they did an ad break there.
Yeah, they did. It fades on Netflix. It fades to black, and then it fades right back. So there was an ad. You don't see the ad, but it's like Gunther just left. Gunther's back. Like, what? It was such a jarring day. Like, what the hell? So Gunther attacks Jay, and the security comes out to stop it. He attacks security. He zip ties Jay to the ropes. Jay is absolutely defenseless. There's no possible way that a human could ever break a zip tie. It's like, made of fucking titanium or some shit, of course. So Gunther now just beats the living crap out of Jimmy over and over. He's beating him with the belt. He's bloody. He's bleeding everywhere. And I made a note here. I said, what happened to security? What happened to the GM? No one comes out to stop this. It
took them a very long time to get out there. They're dragging their feet. He was wiping the blood all over his chest.
Right,
Just
like Lesnar-esque back in the day.
Yeah.
So finally, he subs him again, and then finally, the security comes out and stops it. And I just wrote, I get it. So what they need to do now, because Jimmy slapped Gunther, because Jay's been getting the one up on Gunther, they need to make Gunther look tough again, right? So this is their way to do it, but it wasn't very believable. The zip tie thing is so old and stupid. It's plastic, dude. Like, anyone can break a fucking zip tie.
And it's on a metal rope.
On a rope.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not like your hands were together and you have nothing, you have no leverage. You can easily pull the fucking thing. It's going to break.
Yeah.
It was kind of silly, but I get it. They needed to have him get built up now after, so now Jimmy's out of the picture. Now you'll be, so angry. Jay will be so angry at Gunther in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. It'll motivate him to do better, right? So, next segment, Judgment Day has become fully refocused, and apparently they're all on the same page now, even though they've had all these months of they were going to come apart and they needed to recruit someone new. No, we don't need to recruit someone new. We have disappointments and disagreements about it. Now they all claim that they're on the same page, and I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if I care,
Liv
quite
Morgan
frankly.
is plotting to destroy the Judgment Day. This has all been, she's going to snake them. I want to talk about snaking. I think Liv Morgan is snaking the Judgment Day because she's always at the center of these breakups. So, and then even like this kind of like, she kind of like had to put her 2 cents in.
I need
like
that
always.
money. I really do. I need
Yeah,
that money.
I definitely
to pay my bills.
see something happening with a breakup for the Judgment Day. This will be like, what, the 4th time the Judgment Day broke up?
It's got to happen. I mean, I've been watching since January, and the first match I watched in January was when their member got hurt and he got taken out. And then there's just 4 months of floundering around this plot that they're going to break up, and they're still not breaking up. Like, when is this going to happen? It's got to happen at some point, or else what was the point of 3.5 months of buildup? So I guess we'll see what happens. So anyway, the reason they showed that is because there's about to be a tag match. Penta and Braun Breaker teaming up against Dom and Carlito after last week. If you remember, the Judgment Day had attacked Braun after the match, and Penta decided to go against the Judgment Day and not team up with them. So now we have this confrontation in this tag team match. So Braun and Penta dominate the match pretty early with their unique styles. Penta high flying, nice quick moves. Braun more the powerhouse and flying all over the ring with the
so over. Penta's so over. Like the way he came to the ring and bang, like the signal, the crowd's all copying him. And oh man, if his brother, or I think it's his brother, but if his partner is anything like him, and these two finally get in the same building together, they're going to both be so over. And
pretty exciting.
Didn't know what the hell to do with them.
Right. It'll be good, especially because I feel like LWO is just nothing now, right? Like LWO is done. They're going nowhere.
Yeah, they kind of were always nothing, to be honest. They were just, I think, a tribute to what Eddie Guerrero did in WCW. But they never really gave them that big push. They kind of had a little bit of a push when they were going into Backlash with Bad Bunny like a year ago. Other than that, though, they really have gotten nothing.
Okay. So during the match, Braun constantly overpowers his opponents while Penta outsmarts them. So it's a good combination. It's kind of like the fast guy and the big bruiser guy. But near the end of the match, all of a sudden, Braun accidentally spears Penta. Oops. And then Finn gets a coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. And the Judgment Day win the match. So because of this, it's by the way, the match was Finn and Dom against them. I accidentally said Carlito earlier. That's my fault. I said it was Dom and Carlito. It was Finn and Dom.
Yeah, Carlito was the guy backstage that was overstaying his welcome, and Liv Morgan's like, "What are you still doing here?"
Right.
Right. But like, yeah. Overall, I thought it was a good match too.
And then it is. There's a quick backstage segment later. We'll just bring it up now because it's pertinent. Penta is absolutely furious at Braun. He's not convinced that was an accident. He thinks that perhaps Braun might have done it on purpose. Obviously, if you watch the match, you can tell it wasn't done on purpose, but I guess this is building to them probably having yet another match at WrestleMania. Okay. Chad Gable is in the back with Adam Pearce, the GM, and he thanks Pearce for signing El Grande Americano to the roster of Monday Night Raw.
I love this whole
But
thing.
Chad is still sick. Chad is still sick. He cannot wrestle this week because he's a sick boy. So anyway,
this is great. This is a great segment.
Yeah, so basically he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be good in time to wrestle when I need to again." But Adam Pearce goes, "No, nothing's more important than your health in your hometown of Minneapolis next week. So instead of you wrestling next week, we'll have El Grande Americano wrestle." And that was funny because, like, obviously he wants to wrestle in his hometown, but now he has to put on the stupid outfit instead because he had to open his big mouth. So it's kind of a good plot. I forget who they said he's wrestling next week, though. I don't think I put that down.
I don't remember. I don't remember either. Did they? I don't think they did. I think they just said he's going to have his big match, his debut match. I think it's going to be funny when he gets double booked on a card.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really funny when he has to face himself.
Right. That'll actually, you're right. That might be something they do where he has to face himself and who's going to come out, right? However, we have seen he already had one of American Made wear the outfit before. So perhaps that's what it'll be. He'll wrestle one of American Made if that happens. So, and then, I forget her name. So she's the one who used to be in the group with Gable before he quit and made American Made, but she's now with Otis and Tozawa. What's her name? I can't remember her name.
You're gonna test me here.
On a brain fart.
She's in that new show, LFG.
Oh,
she's one of the trainers. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a really good show. I know that you're watching a lot of things, but it's like such a good reality show that I've been really digging.
I can't remember her name right now.
So she doesn't wrestle enough. That's the problem.
That's the problem. She's barely wrestled at all, so I don't remember her. But she says that she's now going to start to want to learn from Natalya. Like, she wants Natalya to be her coach to train her so that she can get better moving forward. I'm like, all right. I mean,
it's great.
That could be an interesting
doesn't
plot
do
line.
much. She's not doing much these days.
We haven't seen her at all, right? I haven't seen Natalya since I started watching in January. So, all right, that works for me. Okay, so now we have the AJ Styles Logan Paul segment. AJ comes out and says,
I thought Logan Paul was going to call. This whole thing made no sense to me. Because they announced Logan Paul calling him out, and then AJ calls him out and says, "I'm calling you out because I'm not waiting for you to call me out." What was the point in announcing that Logan Paul was going to call him out if you were just going to scratch that? That's fucking weird, but okay.
It was pretty weird. And then what's funny is AJ calls him out, but then Logan Paul talks first anyway. So what was the point of all that? I don't really get it. He says, "AJ, you're not as famous as me. You're not as rich. You're not as good looking. And you're certainly not a global phenomenon." But as he's saying this, the crowd won't shut up. They're just booing him. So again, kind of hearkening back to what we were talking about, these crowds being so hot. And we know that he's the most hated heel. So it's hard for him to even do his promo because the crowd won't be quiet enough to even hear. On Netflix, what they did, they actually recorded his direct capture mic and they played that instead of the arena. Because if you played the arena, you wouldn't have been able to hear what he was saying. So they actually did an edit so you could hear his promo. So let's see here. He says, "I'm a girl dad now. I forgive you for what you did in MSG." And I was trying to remember. I was like, what did AJ do at MSG? I don't remember what he did in the Garden. It's been like a couple of weeks now, and This hasn't necessarily been the hottest of plot lines for me, so I totally forgot whatever the hell might have happened at MSG at this point.
It had potential, but they've kind of, I don't know what they're doing.
By the way, shout out to It's Me Marcula, who just gifted a sub over on Kick. I want to shout that out because we are getting near the end of the show. And so if anyone did want to see a card unpacking here, now would be the time to contribute to hit $100. We're at 75 now, so 25 away from unpacking a pack of cards tonight. Thank you. It's me Marcula. Appreciate that. Okay. So, AJ says, I forgive you too for being the biggest dirtbag in WWE. You have talent, but what are you going to do with it? Then there's a weird line. Don't take advice with anyone you don't want to trade places with. Right? And I'm like,
yeah, he's trying to say AJ Styles nothing to him, and he's happy being himself. So I don't want to trade places with you. So thanks for your advice, but I'm not taking it. That's
Gotcha.
what I took away from it, I believe.
Okay. It was a little confusing. And then, so Logan Paul says, well, I don't fight for free. Everyone here in London is broke. I'm not going to fight here. But Logan wants a WrestleMania match. And then he goes for a cheap shot attempt at AJ, but AJ escapes, beats him a little bit, but then he gets hit rope to the balls. So now that low blow to the balls, and I guess that was the end of the segment. So obviously it's gonna turn out to be Logan Paul and AJ at Mania, which we knew now for a couple of weeks. It was obvious that this was going to be a match. Is it an exciting match? I don't know. Like I
was gonna say, are you excited for does this interaction excite you for a match at Mania?
Let me put it this way. I think I would like to see the match for the technical aspect of it. I'd like to see Logan Paul go one-on-one with Cody Rhodes and see truly, I said Cody Rhodes, excuse me, with AJ Styles, and see truly how this match will go. Because I haven't seen much of Logan Paul outside of 1 or 2 matches, and I was kind of like meh about both matches. So maybe this will be the match that I'll be sold on. Everyone says Logan Paul's good as a wrestler. Don't forget about him as a human. Just focus on his wrestling. For the plot, I don't like this plot. This is stupid. AJ, they don't have a reason to be wrestling. It's not convincing. There's no reason why they'd have this rivalry. It's just kind of a, hey, we both need something to do at WrestleMania, so here we go. And, AJ's a company guy.
More creative. They could have been so much more creative with building this, like AJ Styles. I mean, you could have done something off camera where Logan Paul happens to be doing something and bumps into AJ. There's a million things they could have done to be creative, and this just feels generically manufactured. And I don't know. I think it'll be a great match, though. I think AJ Styles I think he's going to carry the match. And Logan Paul's going to learn a lot.
Right.
I separate the two also. Like Logan Paul, the YouTuber, and Logan Paul, the wrestler, are two different things in my mind. I know Logan Paul did a lot when he was young, and I don't really pay attention to him enough now, other than wrestling, to know what he does nowadays. And I can't really judge a guy on what he did 10 years ago. But if someone told me he did something yesterday, then I'd be like, fucking asshole. So, like, I don't know enough to be like, oh, he's a jerk. All I know is his wrestling has been really good, and that's what I've been judging him on lately.
From what I'm going to understand, he really is a fan of wrestling. He really does want to learn wrestling, but also he doesn't want to give up his whole life of all the other things he's doing. So I bet if he really is a fan of wrestling, of course he wants this match, right? He wants to wrestle an insanely great technical wrestler in AJ Styles, even though it's not for a title, it's not a main event. I think he's totally okay with that. So I think it'll be a good match for the wrestling aspect of it. And in that case, I'm looking forward to it. I don't really care for the plot. I don't give a shit about this rivalry.
So are you aware, Phil, that they're putting matches into the Hall of Fame?
No. Someone said that at some point, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know.
Put what I know is they're gonna put Bret Hart versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania. You know, the one where he like bled, and I guess there was like the double turn where they both turned, and it was good. They're gonna put that because Austin says that put him on the map. They're gonna put that into the Hall of Fame. I'm all for this because now it gives people more incentive. I could be putting on a match that'll be remembered forever, and it also gives the Hall of Fame big stars coming back for more speeches. I know back in the day there was no limit on speeches, but it gets those big stars into the show to talk about the match, and wrestling fans eat all that stuff up. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, does AJ Styles versus Logan Paul have the strength to become a Hall of Fame match?
I don't know about that. But then again, you got people in the Hall of Fame you never would have expected, like Pete Rose and Donald Trump and stuff like that. So maybe later down the line, once they've gone through all the good matches and they're looking for matches to put into the Hall of Fame, you might pull a celebrity match or something out of there. You know, at one point, maybe they're going to have the Lawrence Taylor Bam Bam Bigelow match will be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, God. They're going to run out. They got so many matches to choose from.
All right, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's actually cool. I'll have to look into that. All right, we're almost actually done with Raw, if you can believe it, because such a chunk was taken up by that Cena-Cody promo.
A lot of angles, too.
Not a lot, really.
Raw's always got the angles where SmackDown's got the matches, and it's always been notorious for that, even though the SmackDown matches weren't so great.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm loving the card for Raw. Definitely feels like a WrestleMania Raw, in my opinion.
So, Lyra Valkyria thanks Bayley for protecting her last week, but then gives Bayley a rematch for the Intercontinental title, and that will take place next week on Raw. So that's kind of interesting. Wonder how that's going to happen.
The U.S. title for the women's, the Intercontinental title, isn't defended on Raw. Why? I don't know. Who knows? Intercontinental title being the working title, you'd think it would be at least featured on Raw, at least once a week. Nope. Here we are.
Yep.
They want to make these titles worth something, but yet they're not building prestige behind these titles. What the fuck do I know, though?
But and by the way, they really need both. They need the U.S. and the Intercontinental title for women, even though neither is really prominently featured. It's like, do you really need them then? Then have one.
Exactly.
Just have one, you know? Anyway. All right, so Finn says, hey, you know what? I got the best of Braun Breaker 2 weeks in a row now. You know, I think I should be asking for an Intercontinental title match. And Liv says to Dom, hey, you need to go ask for an IC match too, but since you're not doing it, I'll do it for you. So obviously, like you had already said, yeah, Liv is causing dissension within this group. It seems like that may be her ultimate goal, is that she's trying to prod things and, you know, well, if Finn's good enough, Dom's good enough, and obviously this is going to cause problems at some point. So we had the women's title match as the main event. For those, and by the way, guys, this is the last wrestling segment of the show. So FYI, last chance if you want to contribute. We're $25 away from doing a pack unpacking. So last chance to do that before we adjourn the show for tonight. Thanks to those who did contribute, by the way. So the women's match for the title is Rhea Ripley against the defending Io Sky with Bianca Belair as the special guest referee. I put a note here. I said, you know, there's really not much to say about the match. It kind of goes exactly as it's expected. You know, you got Rhea with her power moves, and you got Io doing the high-flying fast stuff, and you got Bianca who's trying to referee, but, oh, was that a slow count, or was that not a slow count? Is she trying to screw this one? Is she trying to screw that one? It's exactly what you get every time that they have one of these kind of matchups, right? Like,
you know what I got the feeling of? Here's what I thought. You know, because I knew I was doing this show, and I'm watching the match. Bianca Belair. You know, it's like Phil when you play a game and you've never played this game before, and you know the chat's helping you with it. They're trying to help you. It's like Bianca Belair, you know, never been a ref before, and they're trying to give her tips, and she custom made her own little outfit.
Yeah, which she always does. She makes her own outfits, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
She's out there doing her thing, and it's just, you know, not going her way. She's getting bumped around. You're playing a game, and it's not going your way, like a Street Fighter, whatever. And it's just not working in your favor. And honestly, the game sucks. So both of those contestants suck. So what does she do? She rage quits. She says, fuck this. I'm leaving. You guys suck. And she rage quits. She leaves. And I don't blame her, because honestly, they weren't giving her a good match. She's getting bumped around. She's just not. So yeah, that's, I just feel like she rage quit at the end of the day. And she just said, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
So she didn't even want to be the ref. Right?
Obviously, right. She was forced into that role. She didn't ask for that or anything. She, you know, was forced by Pierce to do that.
Yes.
So in the last few minutes of the match, there's a razor's edge and a kick out. Io reverses a riptide, and then Rhea kicks out. Rhea kicks Bianca by accident. So now there's no one to count the pins. Oh, what a surprise that the special guest referee would be out of position or knocked out during a match. Never happened before, right? Io is down. And so Rhea should be winning, but there's no one to count. So, of course, Rhea's upset. This should have been her match. She should have won her title back. Bianca finally recovers and counts 1-2, but then there's a kick out. It's too late. Io gets out. Heavy-handed breakup, you know, of them going at it. Rhea gets angry at Bianca for being so heavy-handed, breaking them up, and she strikes Bianca, and then that's it. Basically, Io accidentally drop kicks Bianca. Bianca's like, enough of this. I'm throwing the whole match out, double DQ. And of course, in a double DQ situation, the champion retains. So Io Sky keeps her title. A huge brawl breaks out and ensues. And at the end of the brawl, Rhea stands tall and angry after all that carnage. Basically, absolutely, positively, nothing whatsoever has been resolved. We know that with a double DQ like this, they're not going to let that stand. And as we kind of knew the entire time leading up to WrestleMania, it looks like we have another triple threat between these three. There's no way that they're going to let this be a singles match when they keep bringing this up. And, you know, it's definitely going to be a triple threat. So
now it makes sense why Bianca Belair was the referee. So now when Rhea Ripley goes and complains and says she was a referee, she screwed me, I should get a match, I should be involved in the match because she screwed me. But in reality, we all know Bianca Belair got put to be referee. She never wanted to be referee.
Right.
But this was just a plot device to get Rhea the rematch whenever, or the match. We're all assuming it's a triple threat, and this is just there for that.
All right. Well, I would say I really liked this week of wrestling. And the reason is I felt the big build-up for this triple threat between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth kind of hit this big moment of climax where now you know that favor was not Punk being in this main event, but instead there's going to be this lingering aspect of what is the favor. That's cool. That gets me excited for that match. The Cody Cena match kind of had this big culmination of their plot where they each got down deep into each other's histories and characters, and I'm actually really excited for that match. Outside of those two matches, I don't know if I'm really that excited about anything else at WrestleMania right now. Maybe that'll change in the next 2 weeks, but at least each night I feel like they've got a really good main event that's going to lead into the next year of whatever happens in WWE. And overall, I do think that now they're finally getting to the point where they're building these matches in a good way. But then I realized something. We've got 2 more weeks of shows before WrestleMania. And like you had said, especially if Cena's not around, I'm wondering what they're going to do with all that time. It seems like a lot of time to kill. Like if WrestleMania was next week, I'd be like, oh shit, that was like great, a great lead-in. But you got 2 more weeks of filler. And I'm wondering what they're going to be doing with this stuff over the next couple of weeks. I really hope that we don't get like a week where there's no development at all with the main event stuff, but maybe we will. I guess we'll have to see. Overall, what did you think of this week's shows?
So I loved Raw. I feel like it progressed a lot. I feel like we're getting into the next level for WrestleMania because again, Mania is April 19th, April 20th.
Right.
So I feel like we're going in there, and I feel like now is the next few episodes are going to be key to leading into Mania. We're past the filler. SmackDown this whole European tour felt like a drag to get through because they had to put it on the schedule. And this is the whole reason why I think Mania got pushed, because this is the European tour.
You might be
now
right.
We're getting into it. Now we're going to Boston. Now we're going to I know one of the, I'm trying to get tickets. I know one of the ones in Boston. I think there was another one that's going to be in Chicago. Yeah, Chicago's Friday.
Yeah.
And there's another big city they're going. They're going to major cities for these next few shows,
which is good.
Hot crowds. Yeah. They're going to be shows that are going to set the stage. So I'm excited. The next few weeks are definitely going to be telling to what Mania card is going to look like. Whether they're good or not, I don't know. But I know the one thing, the crowd's not going to kill these promos like they have been. And I love the crowd, but Jesus Christ, we don't need the crowd to be longer than the promo.
Right. And, you know, I'm very happy that they're going to be having more hot crowds because they're domestic crowds. These are, like you said, like Chicago is going to be crazy if Punk comes out.
Yes,
like they're going to lose their minds. But I don't know. Like I said, I hope that we don't lose momentum before WrestleMania. I do feel like this delay may kill some of the momentum. If it was this next week, I would have been more excited, but I don't know. And the thing is, like, I actually was talking with CypressTV before the show tonight, and I explained what I think I'm going to do. My plans for Smark Guys are as follows. Next week, I am going to do Smark Guys on Thursday night, and we're going to have our 3rd and final special guest co-host. Again, you guys have no clue. This is going to be a really good one. You're going to want to see who this is because we've had the big drama with Ethan Ralph. We had Cypress this week where we had great wrestling conversation. If you want to know the truth, I think this camaraderie here was the best wrestling discussion that I've probably ever had on the show. Like, I feel like we had a great back and forth, different opinions, different takes, interesting things to say about the wrestling aspect. Not necessarily the drama stuff, but the wrestling commentary was great this week. Next
I don't
week,
know half these drama people, so you ain't going to get me there. I only know the ones you talked about.
next week is going to be a very, very interesting show, folks. Just promise me on this, you are not going to want to miss this one. You are
So
going
you
to...
kind of hinted. I'm not going to say nothing, Phil, but I know what it is. I just don't know who it is.
Right.
I'm going to leave it at that.
And so you know, it sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds like a good show
it does
next
sound
week.
good.
So take it from someone who kind of half knows. Next week's going to be a good one. You guys are not going to want to miss it, all right? But the thing is, there's 2 more weeks before WrestleMania, and I was thinking what I should do is next week do a show with the third co-host, and then don't do a show that Thursday night before WrestleMania because WrestleMania is going to be so long. What I might do is a actual super show where the Monday after WrestleMania, so that would be April 21st. Maybe I'll do an actual show during the daytime, not a night stream like I usually do now, but a longer scale show where I'll go through both days of WrestleMania and the results, and I could maybe have guests. Like, I'll see if I can get some of these guys back over the course of the show to come in and give their takes on what happened at WrestleMania and stuff like that. I'll plan that out. I'll let you guys know. I don't see the point in doing 2 more freaking shows right before WrestleMania and then doing a WrestleMania Super Show again. It's like too much wrestling, I think. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, I just want to say, CypressTV, this was, in my opinion, this was the best wrestling discussion I feel like I've ever had on this show. So thank you for that. I had a great time going back and forth with you from the technical aspects of the show. I really thought we worked well together in that. The thing is, people are used to this show being a lot of drama because of the former co-host. So because of that, anyone who was here for that tonight didn't really get it. So, I think anyone who wants the wrestling is going to say this show was best, but everyone who was looking for drama is going to be like, this was boring. Well,
yeah. Well, the YW, you got to get those YWC guys in here because none of these people are the YWC guys. That's the thing. You're right. Your former co-host created a clown show. He didn't really want a wrestling show. And I understand it's hard to switch formats. It's kind of funny. We're talking about changing formats when it was supposed to be a wrestling show.
Right.
But your format was different. But no, at the end of the day, nothing is successful overnight. And you just keep working at it. I had fun. I appreciate you letting me on. I do know wrestling. Like I said, I've worked with wrestling shows for a while, and it's always exciting and fun to talk about. So thank you, Phil. And I hope we get to do it again.
Yeah.
I appreciate chat. I know y'all are trying to be funny in chat. I ain't the one banning you guys. I don't care if you talk about my teeth. I don't care.
Morons.
It doesn't matter to me. So it is what it is. If you guys have that fetish going on, then go ahead.
They always latch on to something stupid. It's uncontrollable. These people.
They're not the first. I've had this happen on. I've had trolls go after me. I've had videos made making fun of it. It's not really that big of a deal. To me, it's just funny. Like, it is what it is.
Stupid.
You got to latch on to something. I would make a teeth shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so
bite my ass, bitch. I don't know.
There you go. There you go. Right. Roll into it. Lean into it. Right. So here's the thing, guys. For those watching, obviously who you're here live, I know your opinions, but for those who watch this show on demand, of which a good amount do, I'd love to get your comments. Leave comments on this video after the fact. What did you think of CypressTV as a co-host of the show? Because there's a lot of different ways I can go. I could possibly look to have a permanent co-host in the long term, but I could also possibly look to have a panel of rotating co-hosts. And if, we have a week with very technical stuff, maybe that's a perfect week to have CypressTV on so we can talk about the technical aspects. If there's more drama, and have someone else on, right? So I'd like to hear your thoughts. And by the way, for the record, I did just receive a $25 tip at the very last moment here.
Wow.
And this person says, cards, open the cards now. So we are going to do a last second card unpacking live on the stream.
MVP? Were they anonymous?
It was anonymous, so I don't know who it was, but we're going to do it. So here we go. And I guess, I'll be update the leaderboard. So we got 3 packs. What pack should I do? The one on the left, the middle, or the right? What do you guys think? Because one of these packs has the rare card in it. I wonder which one, would have it. 1 in 3 chances, pretty good chances.
Yeah, it's the best chances you've had so far. Every time
right.
The chances are bad, they only improve.
That's right.
That's gambling 101.
Well, let's do it. Let's do the right hand pack. There we go. Let's grab that one. All right. So here we go. Unpacking of Topps Chrome. I might have to readjust the focus because this camera does not focus well up close. So actually, let me open here so I can do that. By the way, Op360 Tom just dropped 10 subs over on Kick. So because of that, we actually hit the goal for tonight. If you can believe it, we actually hit our goal. And thank you, Op360 Tom. Let's get that up on the leaderboard.
What was their name?
Op360 Tom. OP360 Tom. With 10 gifted subs on Kick. Gets us to our goal for the night, which actually means that we have a celebration to do. I want to do the unpacking first, though. Let's unpack the pack of cards first. So, all right. Let's see what we got. Here we go. All right. Right-hand pack. All right. Let's see what we got here. And I should probably get my glasses because I can never read these cards anymore because I'm too old. Let's see what we got here. And let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and do the manual focus so that we can actually read the cards together here. Okay. So, first card from SmackDown. It is, this is a good one. From SmackDown, it is Jacob Fatu. That's a good one. That's a good card for now with everything going on. It is just a standard card, though, as you guys can see. It's not any chase card or anything like that. But that's a good one. That's one that I'm happy for. Jacob Fatu, and he appears to be praying. I don't know what he's praying for. He's saying grace before his meal of eating Braun Strowman alive.
I love you, Solo. I love you. Whatever.
There you go. That's a nice one. I like that one. That's a good one. So I'm happy with the Jacob Fatu. Our next card tonight is, if I could get down on my hands and knees and say, Fallon
on camera,
Henley,
a mutated creature that would
from
look like
NXT. I have absolutely
I have no idea either, and that's crazy because I haven't been watching NXT.
Fallon Henley. The funny part is, it is one of the refractors. You see how it has that crazy effect around the edge. So it is one of the rarer cards, but it's not anyone I know. So I have no clue. I do like these refractors though; they look nice.
Yeah.
So
all
right,
does it say anything
Fallon
on the back?
Sure. Hold on. I'll read it. It says, let's see if it says who the hell it is. With a strong work ethic built in her family's bar. What? Fallon Henley is a determined competitor, climbing the ladder of success at NXT. She was part of a quartet of superstars who included Kiana James, James's boyfriend Brooke Jensen, and Josh Briggs. I don't know who any of these people are. With Kiana, Fallon won the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. However, their partnership dissolved when Kiana cheated on Jensen and they lost the titles. Fallon competed against Kiana in the ring before charting her own more sinister path in NXT. No idea what the hell they're talking about there.
Well, at least she was born in a bar, whatever that means.
She was trained and born in a bar. All right. This one, this is interesting. Jimmy Uso, but it's that weird other style. I don't understand. I think what this is supposed to be is like a throwback to an old school baseball card.
Yeah, it looks like an old baseball card.
So I think that it's not a chase or anything. It's just a different card in the set there. Jimmy Uso.
Why is he in front of a green screen? Like they forgot to add the background.
I know. Another card looked like that too. So I guess they all look like that. I guess this is like a traditional thing that they did with baseball cards back in the day too. I don't know.
Huh.
But so there you go.
I don't know.
The Jimmy Uso green screen card. There we go. All right, and our last card of the week. Get these glasses on again. Oh, I don't need to. It's Nikki Cross. And so this is considered a variant. The sepia cards, where it's that sepia tone or whatever.
That looks pretty cool, though.
And this is her as Sister Abigail, right? Like the Sister Abigail character or whatever, when she was part of the Six, the Wyatt Six. But what's funny is I've heard all about the Wyatt Six, but they literally were never on TV since I've watched in January. They've just been gone.
That's a whole conversation for another day, but that's unfortunate. They're not even going to be in Mania, right?
No, nothing. Unless it's a surprise appearance. There she is, Nikki Cross. So, all right, well, not bad. I like the Jimmy Uso card. I like I like the look of the refractor card. I wish that it was a different person. Not bad, but the rare variant still has not been drawn. It's still in one of these two packs. So maybe next week we'll get the rare variant, whatever it is. And next week, I should have another box. Like I said, tonight, I was supposed to have the new box, but they didn't deliver it. They said, oh, we could, if you can believe that, oh, we couldn't reach you. I was home all day streaming. What are you talking about? I was home. I was like,
send like an email or something, right?
Yeah.
That's what they've always done.
They were full of crap. Something happened. They just decided not to deliver it. Nothing's dependable anymore these days. So anyway, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed tonight's edition of Smark Guys. I want to say thank you, everyone, for those last-minute contributions, hitting the goal, that unpacking. By the way, wait a minute. I don't know. I think this is going to go full screen. But we hit the goal tonight, everyone, here on Smark Guys. Thank you for allowing me to hit the goal once again here on the show. I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode, and thank you so much, very much, for your support. That was very loud in my headphones, by the way. It almost blew out my ears.
To me, you looked like nothing was happening because we're on Discord. So to me, it just
you didn't see anything. What's he doing? He's
complete
posing.
Opposite experience.
There you go. All right, so guys, thank you so very much. Next week, our last of a 3-week tear of 3 guest hosts here on the show. I hope that you will join me for that. Thank you, CypressTV. You were a great co-host. I really enjoyed myself. Again, guys, please leave comments. Cypress, do you have anything to say to end the show tonight?
Nope. I had a great time. I'm glad we got to talk wrestling, and hopefully I want every host to do great. I didn't come on with the intention of ever permanently doing anything. I just came on to help you out. I knew you wanted to host. I knew I could talk wrestling, so thank you for letting me do that.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week with the final show pre-WrestleMania and the 3rd special guest host. Don't miss it. You won't regret it. Thanks, everyone, for a great show. See you next time.
I was completely worthless.
Fun.
Dear Derek, I'm sorry that I couldn't tweet you. I tried to follow you, but your profile was deleted. I think that cat left me, so I'm kinda feeling down. She won't answer her calls, but I'm hoping that she comes around. Just know, man, I always appreciate your chats, all the pleasant conversation, and all the Disney facts. It's not that I don't like you, it's just that I'm super busy, and dealing with the trolls has always got me in a tizzy. Your mom seems nice though, and I know she raised you well. Talking with her time to time, I know it's easier to tell. You're a fine young man with his whole world ahead, and she knows you watch my streams when you're supposed to be in bed. So don't worry about not being able to support. I know that if you could, it would be a different story. Speaking of which, yo, did you see that news story about the car they pulled out of the river yesterday morning? I guess it was some guy who had kidnapped a streamer's wife. It's really messed up, man. He took both of their lives. The scene was so horrific, I guess everybody cried. I just hope the families don't have to witness it with their eyes. Come to think of it, it was just a minute's drive from where I live. It almost makes me wonder why, or who, or what did this crime. Wait, Derek, was it? Fuck.
Voicemail, you have one new message.
I'm just gonna tell you, there's a little place for you, all right? It's a big white building. If you go inside, what they're gonna do for you, they're gonna put a nice jacket on you. And then get this, they're gonna put you in a nice comfy room where the walls have pillows all over them. So you can't hurt yourself. You can literally just bounce off the walls in comfort for the rest of your life.
276 on the Vest Street, yeah. Well, tell Jen in my next drink, yeah. Air raid Laura, call me bestie, yeah. Jay, yeah, you broke, hit me next week, yeah. Pig flare drip, got the oops on my wrist. Get a couple pulls by the loops on my tips. Skin tight shirt, big whoops on my chest. Big gout, baby cherry juice on my lips. DoorDash always coming through. Walking around my neighborhood, I'm trying to find my food. Street Fighter 6 always put me in a mood. Master Ranks about to send me back to Street Fighter 2. Got a third channel, about to get my money made. Never hesitated, turned down to 50K. King came through, had to send him on his way. Hair fading faster than the money in my bank. Got my ride going, and they took the tie off it. Pulled up broad day, and then they took it right off it. Called my dad crying, and I told him I can stop it. Pulled up to the dealership with maxed out cars on me. 276 on the Vest Street, yeah. Well, tell Jen in my next drink, yeah. Air raid Laura, call me bestie, yeah. Jay, yeah, you broke, hit me next week, yeah. Pig flare drip, got the oops on my wrist. Get a couple pulls by the loops on my tips. Skin tight shirt, big whoops on my chest. Big gout, baby cherry juice on my lips.
Meerkat mop pulling up on the ops. Take a quick shot and I'm cooking up pork chops. Doing pretty fine if you ask me. Fat cat eating Big Macs in the backseat. Half a mil filled goes re for the tip. Get a goal hit in time for a sip. Booting up online, nothing is fine, cause he's getting bodied all the time. Gonna break his jams with a leg drop. Put him in a figure 4 leg lock. Time to go outside, Phil, cause you're getting hit with the dark side drill.
276 on the Vest Street, yeah. Well, tell Jen in my next drink, yeah. Air raid Laura, call me bestie, yeah. Jay, yeah, you broke, hit me next week, yeah. Pig flare drip, got the oops on my wrist. Get a couple pulls by the loops on my tips. Skin tight shirt, big whoops on my chest. Big gout, baby cherry juice on my lips.
Oh my god!
Windows 8.1. Jasper Kitty, he's my son. Worried that my mobile's fried. Computers lagging, slowing down. RTU PC is free. That's not good enough for me. Windows 8.1. When will support end? Laughing at these dead heads who sent leads, shitting on Phil and vent threads. Play some Stevie of the Dead. Oh Lord, now it's time for bed. Shit, I'm ripping on this locale. Red vest dripping so chill right now. Watch them as they graduate.
Gravitate, not crash.
Don't DoorDash, his car crash. Hit so fast, it fucked the back. Don't crush the gem, can't fuck with them. I'm so class, Phil's tracks are whack. Don't stop, get it, until your Hogan's dead. It cameras on, he masturbates. It need not be top shelf.
Drink the entire top shelf.
I'm feeling super toxic. I was an alcoholic. I'll take a shot of gin. You know I really want it. You make me ill. Give me your super chat.
Super chat, super stickers, membership.
I said hello, Jew. Cat's a BBW. She would ride with me, but she's glued to her TV Cause if Joe saw us out, they'd see me buying cherry juice to cure my gout. Gout. I need to find a way to waste what I am paid. So I opened DoorDash, cause why should I cook at home? I'd rather text than use the phone. DoorDash driver, heed my call. Of course I couldn't find him. Wood porch does not look like mine at all. Wood porch does not look like mine.
I was just singing Oasis all the time. I like Oasis. There seems to be this weird notion, all right, that somehow, just listen to this.
I have psychic manipulative powers that make you do things against your will that you wouldn't normally do. And when I turn on my stream, I use my psychic manipulative powers through the internet to make you contribute to my content. And it's all the psychic power hypnosis that I use over the internet. Ooh, did you know that I was an X-Man all along? Ooh, I'm coming for you. Ooh.
I mean... Okay, allow me to explain to you how this really works. Well, hello everyone, Phil here, and welcome to something special. No nonsense, let's relax, let's have games, let's have a good interactive time style vibes here. About enjoying a variety of games, being honest with my audience, and having great social interactions every single day that I stream.
See the face on the YouTube stream, begging at you every weekday. See the face in the thumbnail, well that man is me. My content is my legacy. Forget the time that they caught me wanking. You won't believe that this all started with a helicopter company.
It happened to me.
You may have heard troll rumors, DoorDash WWE. You don't need to believe in their slander, just believe in Ree. Cause viewers, you know me and you know I'm right. I've been working my ass off for you all day and night. I did nothing wrong, I did everything right.
Not my fault.
You just keep on tipping me, sound good, alright.
Sounds good to me.
I protect my family, I'm a mature adult who operates a household. I work so hard I don't have time for friends, and I sleep alone at night. Don't believe the conspiracies, don't believe the done style theories. Watch me and only me, cause I deserve the damn spotlight. There's no doubt you're hypnotized. You believe in everything I'm saying. If you wanna see my new vest, let's hit direct and start paying. Cause viewers, you love me and I know I'm right. The fame and fortune is all I dream about at night. I did nothing wrong, I did everything right.
By the way, I'm just gonna start banning people right now because I've had enough. I'm just gonna ban like 10 people, alright? I need funds to do things in the short term. If we hit a Tibbs goal tonight, that would be superb. I know you guys love me and what I do. Financially, things are rough for me. Fuck you!
Won't find me begging when I've hit that Tibbs goal. Crack open a bottle of gin for the night. Just make sure to check my daily gaming schedule. Cause if you can support me, please swing on by. I'm not trying to guilt trip you.
Eat a lunch meat sandwich.
But I'm begging you please, my bills are overdue.
I need that money, I really do. I need that money. Pay my bills.
Don't look at the detractors. Don't look at the trolls. Don't look at any other content creators that you know. You can find me on YouTube. ESP, no space gaming. You can tip me anytime, but tip right now, cause support is low. The members are joining in droves, and I'm not getting any poorer. All of this is thanks to you. my loyal pay pigs, whales, and viewers. Cause viewers, you love me, and I know I'm right.
Thanks for the money,
My
dummies.
meaningful content is the meaning of my life.
Meaningful to me.
I did nothing wrong, I did everything right.
I did nothing wrong.
I just can't wait to pull some Bogans tonight. Alright, cause viewers, you love me right.
You love my content, right?
I'll be doing the same shit for the rest of my life.
Every day of my life is the best day of my life.
I still do nothing wrong, I do everything right.
I did nothing wrong.
You just keep on tipping me and everything will be alright. Viewers, you love me. Viewers, you love me.
Anyone who supports the stream anyway, whether it be a like, a super chat, a membership, a gifted membership, a tip, all appreciated, okay?
Viewers, you love me.
I understand that people right now are so hyped for the gifted memberships, and I'm very grateful for that. I mean, thank you. But I hope that that doesn't mean that people are going to forego tipping, because that would put me in a bad situation. And in particular, I don't know why you guys, okay, why are you laughing? Grocery shopping, tips. Meal with my wife, tips. Coming up, my day off on Tuesday, tips. Nintendo Online, tips. Bills and stuff, tips. Tips are the liquidity of my business. Why are you laughing? Oh, so hilarious that this guy has stuff financially tight. I literally can't afford stuff on Tuesday on my day off, and you're gonna laugh? Oh, it's funny. When you can't go and do something with your family on your day off, your one day off for the week when you're working full-time 6 days a week, that's funny, right? No, it's not fucking funny. Now shut up. Grocery shopping, tips. Meal with my wife, tips. Coming up, my day off on Tuesday, tips. Nintendo Online, tips. Bills and stuff, tips. Tips are the liquidity of my business. Grocery shopping, tips. Meal with my wife, tips. Coming up, my day off on Tuesday, tips. Nintendo Online, tips. Bills and stuff, tips. Tips are the liquidity of my business. Huh? Huh? Huh?
This one's for all my baby girls.
Shorty rock to the beat for your boy. Dumba, dumba. Rock to the beat for your boy. Dumba.
Here we go. I want money. I want tips. Pay my taxes.
Eat a dick.
With you.
Easy to eat.
With you.
My tax attorney screwed me over. YouTube views. Fucking pointless. What can I do? I'm screwed. I want to do a fundraiser to pay my tax on Twitch. Violated the rules.
Get that ass banged.
What a bitch. Dumba. It's not my fault. Dumba. It's not my fault.
It was
YouTube.
It was
taxes.
It was
detractors.
It was
cinema.
It was
copyright strikes. Not my fault. Phil, with all this going on, we really want you to have a new TV.
You should tip me.
If you're not aware, just a standard doctor's visit is hundreds of dollars.
You should tip me.
In addition to all of that, last night also, I was looking at gaming headphones.
You should tip me.
I might have to sell my house.
You should tip
Excuse me. Each day the streams go, see what my whales owe. Interactive fun. Belching and snorting, give Jasper a warning. Squirt the water gun. Make you watch my shorts, explain why they're good. Why do they all have such low views? Like Panda and pills, let's keep this stream chill. Good, we've hit that let it go. Now reward us. I'm in a vest now. It's podcast best now. Killing it like tea. Give me some bounties. Challenges, I mean cheese. TOS friendly. This boss is bullshit. My gout's flaring up. Filled my water bottle with gin. Whale tail. More breakage from cat. Derek starting chat. Support has been slow and my bills have come in droves. I just can't stop begging you. My 10-year plan is still through. Why am I not successful and rich just like you? Inheritance is past you. I won't put up the green screen tomorrow. Fourth place felt just like yesterday. I can say, hey, farewell to Rambo. This is my life, and I do everything correct always. I just can't stop begging you. $6 have yet to come through. Down from the rafters, to turn back time. Turn off the camera while I scooches. Should not have said hello, Jude.
Today, some shithead hater will take something that I say out of context, and a ton of morons will watch that video. So within a day or two, that video will get like 5,000 views. While my daily gameplay videos each are getting, what, like 1,000 views, if that? Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not? YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane. This is fucking toxic. Cuck life. It became a meme, right? The meme was to hate on me. What are the legitimate reasons? At first, there were. But over the years, are you shitting me how I've changed, like how different I am now? There is no thing fucking legitimate you could do. But the shit these people say and do, the insane amounts of slander and defamation about me, that's just untrue on the internet. There's no way I could ever, in any capacity, legally or otherwise, there's no way I could even dispute 99% of the shit they say because of the insane amount of it that they say. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not? YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane. This is fucking toxic. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not? YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane. This is fucking toxic. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not?
Thank you for calling YouTube customer support. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line with all the other lame brain dummies who don't matter. Your expected wait time is whatever.
Wolverine doll, 2K24. Big ups. Put me on hold? Don't they know who I am? I invented playthroughs. I'm the man with the plan. Mommy's 10-year plan. Did I meet it or not? I guess it doesn't matter. Let's hold that thought. I think about money and I hold that thought. I think about my marriage and I hold that thought. I think a lot about all I never got. Then I take another sip and I hold that thought. I never got my dick rubbed. My parents never bought the doll that goes snicked, bub. I never got the spicy Latina. She never even let me near the spicy vagina. I never got an accoladed Evo. Didn't see no love for DSP, but they love the top 3 though. I never got the respect that I ought, so I try to wonder why, then I hold that thought. I think about Leanna and I hold that thought. I think about T and I hold that thought. I think a lot about everyone I've lost, and I pull another Hogan and I hold that thought. I lost my buddies Rambo and Howard. I threw out my fucking back, now I gotta use a stool in the shower. I lost my money, my nerve and my power. They were gonna throw hands, I just pulled mine back like a coward. I lost my understanding of the how or the why of the bad decisions that I made that got me lost like a tire. I lost my fire, the passion I brought. So I wonder what's left, then I hold that thought.
Why am I this way? Why am I this way? A scam and a play while time flies away. Why am I this way?
Why am I this way? I pray I will climb to level 2, just not today. Okay. Tips. Give me that.
I'm going crazy like CeeLo from getting overlooked like my lil man Skilo. I need Hogan's, I gotta pull a kilo. My PJs are a chronicle of every time I ate a Dorito. The haters all compel that thought, and hell I fucking wish I could dispel that thought. I dress like I do cause of low tier God. He said I wasn't sexy and I held that thought. I think about the past and I hold that thought. I think about the future and I hold that thought. I pour another gin, take a cold fat shot, then I go downstairs and I hold that thought. I wish it was a little less dopey, a little less copey. I wish I didn't give it all to Scopely. I wish I had a little more hope that I won't die broke and alone, not a note from the homies. I wish the whole world hadn't seen it. I wish I just dreamed it, even if they didn't see my penis. I got troubled thoughts, I get lost in the sauce, all because like my sauce I need a little more sweetness. I wish I was a little bit smarter. I wish I was a charmer instead of just a snorter and a farter. I wish that my emotions had armor. It's hard when they charge me with fraud or escape from a farmer. I wish I could control how my name is displayed in the pages so nobody could say I'm an anus. I may go insane from the hate and the pain. It's a shame that my brain's as fucked up as my fate is. I life and I hold that thought. I think about death and I hold that thought. Your thoughts stay with you, your friends do not. That's alright. I'll just...
Hi, thank you for holding. I understand you're experiencing some problems with your YouTube channel. Hello? I'm sorry, is this PP Burnell? 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 Burnell?
I sat down and I saw a lawyer and talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, you know, with your situation, you know, there's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. Piggy at the courthouse, get up to my eyebrows. I got 14 credit cards, I'll never pay them off now. Cars, statues, condo fees, moving across the country. I did nothing wrong, and cat that bitch agrees with me. Finances, a fucking mess, lying to the IRS. Those niggas can suck my balls. ESP, don't pay no debt. Fucking form asset suppression. Trying to get chapter 7. If I get done from perjury, I'll blame it on that asshole. 7. Financial prudence, fucking lame. Tips go straight to gotcha gains. I spend it up, that's why I got 500 grand to my name. But I'm still living like I'm rich. I'll take your cheers, subs, and tips. And if you drive a Subaru, I'll straight up fucking take your ditch. He's at the courthouse, get up to my eyebrows. I got 14 credit cards, I'll never pay them off now. Cars, statues, condo fees, moving across the country. I did nothing wrong, and cat that bitch agrees with me. I am nowhere near at a level of ridiculousness as some of these other people who are making a giant living, making way more money than I ever did doing this, okay? I'm fed up. I feel right now I'm being incredibly mistreated. I feel that 100%, okay? I do. I feel like this is not fair. What did I do to constitute being removed from the YouTube Partner Program? Pursuant to the Content License Agreement, nothing I can do. Pursuant to the Content License Agreement, go to YouTube. I don't want to. Pursuant to the Content License Agreement, it's not fair. What did I do? Pursuant to the Content License Agreement, go to YouTube. I don't want to. You lose. It's over. Fuck you. Yes, you. Like, if you're actually pretty much to the point where I guess if you're financially destitute, about Phil's a joke, Phil's a clown, Phil's this, Phil's that. You did nothing wrong. You have to be brain dead fucking stupid to believe that. This kind of shit needs to be exposed for what it is. You got paid for your stupidity. Now, the whole game you're trying to save the pig. 6 people support the stream, making insane amounts of money. And of course, reality hits, it's basically do or die time. Dummy. Pursuant to the content license agreement, nothing I can do. Pursuant to the content license agreement, go to YouTube. I don't want to. Pursuant to the content license agreement, it's not fair. What did I do? Pursuant to the content license agreement, go to YouTube. I don't want to. Pursuant to the content license agreement, nothing I can do. Pursuant to the content license agreement, go to YouTube. I don't want to. Pursuant to the content license agreement, it's not fair. What did I do? Pursuant to the content license agreement, go to YouTube. I don't want to. Some viewers tip for a shout out. Some tip to fuck the trolls. But the pay pigs I love most of all tip me to put on silly clothes. See my vest, see my vest. It's a gold mine. Who would have guessed that this shitty piece of garb would make my pay pigs deck so hard, cold, or hot? No matter what, I shall invest out like a fox and say it wasn't my idea, so I was innocent to appear. Cowboy hat, I can't wear that, not just because I look up twat, but my precious fake surround sound would be wrecked. I push to make it a meme and guilt trip dance on stream. See my vest, see my vest, see my vest. My wedding dancer. Claws of Jasper, the handkerchief I used to masturbate is made from hamster skin from off their chest. But when it comes to tips, nothing else can eclipse. See my vest, see my vest. Please, won't you see my vest? Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. People seem to like the vest.
E-beggar, I bite nails and see that somebody is black. I lick your lips and snort. True detective man, someone at the grocery store stole me canvas bags. I lick your lips and snort. E-beggar, I blame the netcode every time I don't win. I lick your lips and snort. Shaky hands, I'm jonesing for an additional soaking of gin. I think I'll drink a quart. Do you know about me? I'm gouty. When I'm not in control, I get pouty. Gonna scold any gent who's down to doubt me. Gonna gorge until my knee becoming an outie. Don't you deliver me DoorDash later, you might end up like T. I overpronounce that letter in his memory. E-beggar, I'm scared of an urban American taking my tire. I lick your lips and snort. Subaru man loses his lady because Billy decided to buy her a combo number 4. E-beggar, I masturbated in front of the young and disabled. They saw me beat my meat. I can get ear infections like a toddler, so I gotta put on me neck phones. They're like a toilet seat. Talking to the film director Mike Clum, so I might be remembered for anything other than my cum. This'll be just what I require to save me failing business. Cause after the interview, everyone's only been taking the piss. He wants to show me wife who doesn't like to be seen. To get ahead of it, I go down and drag her on stream. She tries to answer questions as I hold back me snort, so I cut the lady off like a fresh pair of jorts. E-beggar, I'm tired of them Argentinians trying to cheat me. Lamo los labios. Gonna throw all the foreigners out. You Latinos can fuck off and eat me. I'm saying adios. E-beggar, me